Hey everyone, today is Thursday, the 25th of June 2020. This is The Gap, episode 522. I'm Luke Lawrie. Joab Gilroy is here, and it has been a busy week. There is a lot going on this week. Like a ridiculous amount of things.
You went and had a fucking haircut. Captain Haircut.
I haven't had a haircut.
Fucking look at you with your haircut. Fucking Mr. Haircut over here. You look fucking 12, motherfucker.
I know, because I didn't do it today. I just like pushed it to the side. Got out of the shower.
The cleanest your hair has looked in fucking 6 months. This is ridiculous. And you haven't had a hair. Like, you should just push it to the side all the time. You should not do your hair. It's been a mistake doing your hair this entire time. I haven't had a haircut in fucking forever. Look at this fucking fridge. They should remake The Crow and I can be on it. Look at it. It's nearly down to my mouth. It's fucking ridiculous.
Mine's getting there. Like it's usually up here somewhere. Speaking about remaking The Crow, did you see they're bringing back Michael Keaton as Batman?
For The Flash, right?
Yeah, that is insane. I like it. I'm on.
I was talking to my brother because he was like, you should watch the last half of the last season of Gotham. And normally we have like discussions about TV shows and like the discussion usually hinges on how many episodes do I have to fucking watch of this before it actually gets good.
Yeah.
I remember he recommended Person of Interest, right? Which might be one of my all-time favorite shows, but the first season is such a fucking slog to watch that it almost breaks the entire thing. It's almost like too much to watch. Like it's 22 episodes, and Person of Interest, if you never watched it, is this it's a Jonathan Nolan / Lisa Joy joint, the team behind Westworld.
Yeah,
and it's got fucking Jim Caviezel, like Jesus, is this dude who like has an AI telling him when crimes are about to be committed,
like Minority Report.
Sort of, a tiny bit, yeah. And without the people floating in pools,
and the balls,
and yeah. So what it winds up doing is like for the first 21 episodes, they explain in detail the premise. Like every single fucking episode, it starts off. It's got, I can't remember what else he's in, but it's like there's two people in this show. There's Jim Caviezel and the other guy, and the other guy is this nerdy guy who controls the AI, or the AI controls him, or something like that. And yeah, every single fucking episode starts with that dude being like, Jim, I need you to hunt down this crime. I got to explain to you how I know there is a crime because I've got this AI. And then the next episode will start off and it'll be like, that dude is back. And he's like, Jim, I need you to hunt down this crime. I've got this AI and it tells me when this crime's about to happen. And then the third episode happens and he does it again. I'm like, I can't fucking watch this guy continue to explain the premise of this fucking show over and over and over again. It's driving me fucking insane. So I hit up my brother. I'm like, Liam, this fucking show fucking sucks. I don't care if it stars Jesus Christ. Fucking tell me what I'm supposed to do. And he's like, oh, no, sorry. If I were to rewatch it, I would watch like episodes 10, 12, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. That's all I'd watch of the season, the first season, and then watch all of season 2. I'm like, oh, okay. And I did that, and it fucking ruled. And like everything after that, like that show goes places. It like goes into like some deep philosophical shit. Have you got like a toothache or something?
No.
You keep like pressing your tooth. It's weird.
No, I'm just scratching my face.
Okay, weirdo. Anyway, so usually all of our discussions talk about how much of a show you have to skip, but this time it was interesting because for Gotham, he's like, don't watch any of the show except for the last half of the last season because it's fucking that shit's amazing, but the rest of it's idiotic. I'm like, okay, fair enough. But it actually scans with how I watch every single DC comic show now. Like I watched Arrow, like season 1 and season 2, and I got like 3 episodes into season 3 maybe, and then I just fucking quit. I watched season 1 of Flash, and then I quit. And now I'll just show up for stuff that happens in these shows. I'll just like, oh yeah, Infinite Crisis. I'll watch this crossover shit. Yeah, I'll watch
Really?
that. And
I got 2 episodes into that, and I was like, I can't do it.
it's yeah, it's pretty goofy.
Especially when you've got characters that are in some of these shows that have played other characters in other DC TV shows, but they're like completely different characters, but they're talking to each other as like Lois Lane is in Smallville, but she's also in something else, or she's like the mother of someone, and I'm fucking so confused as to what is going on. It's weird.
Or Superman, right? Brandon Routh plays fucking Superman. Played Superman in that movie, but he also plays the shrinking guy, Dr.
Ant-Man.
Adam, or Captain
DC's Ant-Man.
Yeah, DC's Ant-Man.
But then in Infinite Crisis, he's also playing Superman as well. So he's
so he plays both of them. Pretty weird.
Yeah.
But they also got what's his face, Smallville back, which was pretty cool. I like that. I like the whole Smallville scene in general, actually.
Yeah.
And then so I'm like, oh well, obviously I will watch The Flash when Michael Keaton shows up as Bruce Wayne, because fucking obviously. I mean, they had what's his face, Kevin Conroy in the Infinite Crisis as Bruce Wayne, as like old man Bruce. It was pretty fucking sick. Yeah, those they're so wildly inconsistent, but I don't know. My wife watches all of them, so it's usually not that hard for me to catch up when I just watch the crossover eps, because she can tell me everything I missed. I'll be like, who the fuck is that? She's like, oh yeah, that's Supergirl's like best friend, and also Lex Luthor's sister. I'm like, excuse me, what? What? Yeah, it's very, very confusing, but you work out anyway. Yeah,
it's an interesting way of working around the problem of not having Ben Affleck return as Batman in that universe, right? Because they've rebooted it with Robert Pattinson, but that specific Flash / Cyborg, Superman, Wonder Woman is like still Aquaman. It's all still part of the DC cinematic universe, or whatever the fuck they call it.
Wait, is it the DC universe? I thought it was the DC TV show.
No, it's the Flash movie.
Oh, I don't want to watch the Flash.
At least that's what I thought it was.
Fuck. Well, shit.
Yeah, Flash movie, it says here. Hollywood Reporter.
Okay, then. Fine. Well, that makes a lot more sense. And it does sort of explain why you looked so confused as to why I went off on a tangent about TV shows.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I'm on board. Michael Keaton was a great Batman, and he's been like, he's done some amazing work recently. Like a lot of his films that he's put out has been awesome. Yes, but he was in Spider-Man. He was an awesome villain in that.
Holy shit!
He was great as a villain.
How good is he in that?
Spotlight, Birdman, which was basically him playing Batman. What was the other one? The Founder, him playing McDonald's. Yeah. That was great. Like, he's done some awesome stuff. Like his whole career, but recently he's been smashing it. So, yeah, definitely keen to see where that ends up, if it happens. Obviously, they've been talking about this Flash movie forever, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Anyway,
while I'm talking about TV shows on a complete tangent, you got to watch Corporate. Everyone should watch Corporate.
Okay.
Nate convinced me to watch Corporate.
Yeah.
And I watched it. I went away, went down the coast for because we were supposed to go like me and my wife take a holiday around this time every year. It's our holiday time, and obviously we couldn't take the holiday we were going to take this year. So we took a local tourism holiday where we went down the coast to a little place called Jarvis Bay, which is sort of in the middle of a fucking national park, and we had this crazy apartment right on the right looking out over the beach and fucking gorgeous. And yeah, it was pretty good. But took my like we were watching corporate streaming while we're down there, and I was like, oh, I'll watch an episode, and then we watched like all of it in one fucking go, and it's the best thing I've seen in fucking ages. It's basically like, do you remember Better Off Ted?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Better Off Ted, except they like really like instead of benevolent evil corporation, like those lovable scamps, the evil corporation in corporate is just fucking evil, and they like really go for it. It's fucking hilarious. It's got what's his face from The Wire, and the dude in
You're selling it.
Destiny.
The dude in Destiny.
No, he's in Destiny. He talks
Nolan
about
North.
Suffix Prime has been a scourge on this city. Fucking Lance Reddick.
Okay.
Fucking the man. And he's like the big CEO in of this corporation, and he is fucking hilarious. Anyway, just watch Corporate. Everyone should watch Corporate. It's the best thing I've seen in ages.
How come you went to Destiny for Lance Reddick and not like all the other shit he's been in?
I was gonna go for John Wick, but then I remembered his fucking name.
Okay.
I said The Wire? Like, The Wire should be enough. The Wire in Destiny. Show me a fucking Venn diagram. Show me a fucking
What about
Venn
Horizon?
diagram.
Wasn't he in Horizon? You could have went that way.
Horizon
Zero Dawn.
Was he?
I'm pretty sure he was.
Show me a Venn diagram of actors in The Wire
Yeah.
and in Destiny, and tell me I didn't give people a fucking good enough reference point. If you were to fucking look up actor in The Wire Destiny, only one fucking name would come up. Do it. I know you're doing it. You're trying to prove me wrong.
No, I'm looking at yeah, he was in
You'd be
Horizon
like,
Zero
fucking,
Dawn.
Omar was in Destiny or some shit. No, he fucking wasn't. But yeah, anyway, he's also the concierge in John Wick, and I don't know what else he's in. He's fucking awesome though.
He's in stuff.
And yeah. Anyway, watch Corporate.
Right.
Watch it. Cool.
Awesome. Should we talk about video games?
Talk about video games?
Yeah.
Go. Yep.
The Last of Us 2, we did a spoiler cast this week. Or we did it last week. We did it when the game released on Friday, I think it was. So you can go to the podcast feed, check that out. If you've played the game, make sure you've played it first before you jump in and listen, because it's a spoiler podcast. We talk about the story for about, 2.5 hours?
Yeah.
Primarily the story. Like, we didn't really talk about gameplay as much, maybe a couple of minutes, but this was, for the most part, the stuff we couldn't talk about under embargo. Which includes like the second half of the game, and then a lot of the story elements in the entirety of the game as well. So definitely go listen to that once you finish it. It's a good little discussion, I think. I've been listening to a lot of spoiler casts this week, the last couple of days, about sort of what people are thinking, and sort of their take on that game. So yeah, it's been fun. Listen to all that sort of stuff. A couple other things happened though. The Metacritic scores sort of dropped. We had a it dropped for the public, right? So public was now able to put their vote on it. And I don't ever take those scores into account for anything. I think it's a useless sort of system to sort
Metric.
of
Yep.
to gauge. Um, but yeah, it got review bombed pretty hard. I was up at that time, and it started off in like a 0.4 for the first couple hours. Like it was low, extremely low. Uh, and it's sort of, I guess, stabilized a little bit up around the 3 mark at this stage, I think. Oh, it's at 4.4, but it was sitting around 3.4 for a very long time. And it currently has 80,000 reviews on it.
Right.
45,000 negative reviews, 3,000 mixed, and 30,000 positive reviews. And like I'm looking at the negative reviews here, and just on the first page, and there's like zeros, 0, 1, 0, 4, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 2, 0, 3. Like it just keeps going like that. That's insane. Like,
That is
yeah.
idiotic.
There needs to be I like Steam's like critical review section a lot better, because you can see who has played the game, you can see
Yep.
who has received the game for free, how long they've played it for, when it's been, I guess, reviewed over a period of time, sort of like, is the negativity sort of skewed up into a certain point from a patch? Like it's a lot.
Yep.
It's a much better system. Whereas this is just anybody can sign up and just leave a dumb review. And this was
Yeah.
this was basically within when the game went live. Within hours, it was just getting bombarded by people putting. I would say the majority of them are not real reviews. They're being, a lot of them are fake reviews. They're just upset.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, that's review bombing. I mean, yeah, like they're literally just shouting at the wind, uh, desperately attempting to, be heard
Mm.
for something that they don't have a like a knowledge base for. It's sort of pretty fucking pretty classic 2020, if anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, people just want to be heard. It doesn't matter that they don't have anything to say worth hearing. They're just desperate for someone to listen to them. And yeah, that's how they choose to express themselves, I suppose. Yeah, it's review bombing's dumb. Rotten Tomatoes apparently requires people to like prove that they've seen a film now
Okay. Yeah.
by showing a ticket stub and stuff before they leave a review. Seems like it might be halfway decent plan, unless Metacritic I don't know, really adores the high quality traffic that they get
Mm.
from the bots that are posting zero reviews on The Last of Us and stuff. Yeah, like if Metacritic is happy with that traffic, but it seems like a sort of self-limiting um like situation, because the less people go to it, like the more people, I know most people, a lot of people, sorry, not most, a lot of people just go to OpenCritic now because it doesn't weight reviews against how important the site is, and it showcases a wider array of sites, gives better details, allows you to like look at not just the other reviews by the site, but also other reviews by that reviewer and all that kind
Hmm.
of stuff. Like, yeah, OpenCritic is like Metacritic, except it's attempting to be better. Metacritic seems to be happy with wallowing in its own crapulence, and yeah, so I'm kind of, well, why don't we just move on from Metacritic? Why do like, yeah, just don't look right
Yeah.
at some point. I got into a significant amount of arguments over the weekend with people on the internet, uh, because you can tell when someone is arguing in bad faith. They're arguing to push an idea that they don't really understand. Like they haven't thought through to its, I guess, logical conclusion, to its zenith, so they can't actually back it up all the way. So if you keep prodding them, eventually they just get upset. And so the people saying, "Oh, there's no way this game is worth more than a 6." And if you prod that concept, they'll be like, "Well, so what? People should just be allowed to review games based on their own biases?" Yes, that's literally what a game review is. I guess there's no such thing as an objective review then? No, there isn't. That's how this works, etc., etc. And then, or the fucking the dog killing one. That's been a big thread recently. Is they make you kill a dog.
Hmm.
Wild spoilers for The Last of Us Part 2. I would be surprised if you somehow missed this at this point, but they make you kill a dog, and then they make you become friends with the dog to make you feel bad. It's reverse save the cat. They don't use the terms reverse save the cat because save the cat is a screenwriting or like a storytelling device concept, like a trope. But yeah, they're pushing it exactly the concept that save the cat professes, which is this idea. There's this screenwriter who wrote a bunch of popular like novels about screenwriting, demonstrating how successful films tend to have someone save a cat early on. So they'll do something innocuously good to indicate to the audience that they are not just the good guy, but a good guy. And yeah, the idea is killing a dog is supposed to be a reverse save the cat. Oh, it's so on the nose. So, but it doesn't really look into, like, it doesn't fucking examine on any level what that scene is supposed to be about. I mean, 100% per our spoiler cast. I will not go into details, but I think the gap spoiler cast cut of The Last of Us Part 2, our director's cut version, I don't know, insane commentary cut of The Last of Us Part 2, our recut of it, would have solved this problem specifically and had it execute itself. Like, it would have been executed a lot better, but nevertheless, yeah, like that's not what you've killed dozens of dogs by the time you kill that dog. Dozens. Like, it's not about that at all. Like, Ellie is not doing that now you're supposed to feel bad for killing dogs. No, that's not what it's fucking about. Like, you've clearly played this game by watching a fucking
Or read the
YouTube
spoilers.
fucking
Like a
summary
lot
of
of
the
them are
fucking
just
spoilers.
regurgitating
Yeah.
the spoilers, not having any context of why these things are there, and they're just
Yeah.
like, you can see the arguments of the same people making the same points. You're like, you've not played this game.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And it's insane. Because, I mean, if anything, it is a beautiful argument for the power of interactivity, because I think there is a very strong argument to be made that The Last of Us 2, or Part 2 rather, doesn't empower the player with a lot of agency. You are a person. It is a role playing game in the sense that you are role playing as Ellie and Abby. You are like what they are doing. You don't make choices on their behalf. They make choices, and you deal with the consequences. We, as opposed to a game like, say, Prey or something, where even at the end, I mean, even if the choices are pretty binary, you still make a decision at the end and stuff like that. This is more like Bioshock, without the narrative justification to tell you that what you like, BioShock is like, oh well, would you kindly
Mm.
explains how what you were doing the whole time, the fact that you never really made any meaningful choices,
Mm.
the fact that this was linear is explained away by the would you kindly device. And then BioShock Infinite, they sort of explain it away in a fucking multiverse. uh you may have made a different choice over here and all that kind of stuff
Mm-hmm.
type thing. The Last of Us doesn't attempt any I guess meta narrative trickery to explain it away, but it is very much that linear narrative game. And yeah, it's, I think, a great showcase of how all of those little things are required for The Last of Us Part 2 to actually land the way it does.
Mm-hmm.
And I do still think, as I wrote in my review, that it's going to piss off some people. There is zero doubt in my mind that there will be people who cannot be won over by The Last of Us Part 2 because it hinges critically, like the story, the narrative hinges on something that I think some people will not be able to forgive.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not what they're like. They're not arguing from that point of view. They're not arguing from the point of view of
Yeah.
you're making me play as fucking Alfie Allen in John Wick. And and now I've got to like be the dude who killed fucking John Wick's dog the entire fucking time. No, that's not what they're arguing. They're arguing based on we watched some fucking leaked bootleg fucking spoiler videos and read a fucking summary, and now I know everything about the fucking game when it doesn't fucking like the game is more than the phrase "sum of its parts" more than the sum of its parts. Like they don't even have the sum of its parts. They have some of its parts.
Yeah.
That's fucking I feel very clever for that wordplay. But no, like seriously, they don't even have all of the fucking parts.
Yeah. They got
They're
a couple
basing their
paragraphs
opinions off. Yeah,
of a
exactly.
25-hour game.
Exactly. It's fucking insane. I have noticed that there is a bit of a trend. Like I've noticed that there are the negative reviews that I've read, because I've read a lot of reviews. I haven't listened to a spoiler cast, but I've read a lot of reviews, and the trend I've noticed is the negative reviews sum it up as a 20-hour game.
Hmm.
And like the more positive reviews sum it up as a 25-hour game.
Yeah, 25 to 30.
Yeah. And I think there might be something in that. I'm not sure what. Like, did they get to a point where they just wanted to end, and so they stopped searching everything,
Hmm.
or did the
Did they
game not
miss
land as
stuff?
well for them because they weren't searching the entire time? Like I wonder. Because yeah, it took me 28 hours, and I'm going to be honest. After the 15th false ending, I did actually just want it to fucking end, but I still searched everything because that was the part of the game that I actually enjoyed the most. That was my favorite gameplay
Hmm.
in The Last of Us Part 2 was searching every fucking nook and cranny to find everything I could. So yeah, I didn't rush through it, but I could see. Yeah, there's got to be like I'd love to know where they land on that. Did they just want it to end and so they rushed, or did they rush the whole time and so things didn't land the way they should, or what? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, in talking about that, I started another playthrough on my account. I'm going through and trying to get some achievements and stuff. You can't actually copy save files from one profile to another, so I've had to start like completely again from scratch on my account. Because
No.
I wanted to jump in on like New Game Plus and
Yep.
go through that again. But anyway, so I've started brand new from scratch. I've chucked on some of the assists and accessibility options. So I'm running around with um, enhanced listen mode, which means that you can press the button to listen, and then you've got two more options. One to send out a ping that will highlight enemies like from a certain distance, and the other one is the same thing. It'll send out a ping, but it'll highlight objects around you, whether it's like interactable objects or resources or things you can pick up, that sort of stuff. So I've got that one running on, and you can change the slider to be like, I want it to be 20 meters or 10 meters or, however far you want it to. And then there's the second option in that is how long the ping stays highlighted when it finds something. So I jacked that up to like 6 seconds or something. I think the default was like 2 or 3 seconds. So I've turned all those on. The other one I've turned on is like bullet time, I guess, or slow down time when you aim. So there's actually two toggles for that. You can touch or swipe the pad on the controller, and that'll slow down time regardless of what's going on the screen. So that's just pretty good to do during a conversation because it just works. So everybody's talking really slowly or like drunk conversations. It's good. Otherwise, you can set it to toggle when you're aiming as well. So I've got it on that setting at the moment. So time just slows down while you're aiming, and you can get cool headshots and do all kinds of things like that. So I've got that one on, and I think that is it for the moment. Yeah, I think they're the two that I'm running. Just means that I can run around and like, because I've already finished the game, I can just hit the ping button, find some stuff that I didn't find before. And there has been cases where I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't know that was here. Like a lot of crawl spaces, things like that, where I've crawled into an area and been like, oh, there's resources here. Okay, fair enough. I didn't find this the first time. So just kind of using that as like a way to explore places that I haven't seen the first time around is pretty interesting. But I'm definitely going through it a bit quicker, like, because I know what to do. Right, I've done these encounters before. I can just jump in and I've solved that puzzle before, so I know how to sort of approach it, and it means that I can also play it a little bit differently. Like I can go loud if I want to this time. I'll start using my weapons a bit more because I want to try a different sort of style of play. But yeah, I'm enjoying it for the most part. Again, I don't think I'm gonna like smash through it. I'm just kind of every couple of days I'll jump in for a couple of hours and go through and see if I can find everything again. But I'm enjoying the accessibility options and kind of playing it differently from the first time around. Because I think for you in particular, someone who doesn't like the shooting in those games, I do think that this is their best combat. I guess the best, like their best attempt at a combat game from all the other games they've done. But if you're still kind of someone who's not comfortable with the controller or just doesn't like the sort of shooting mechanics in these games, because they are very precise, like headshots are super important. They're kind of like one-shot kills, whereas if you shoot someone in the chest in a game like this, it can take a couple of hits and there's not many resources around. So yeah, by having that like slow down time, it's cool because you can just take your time, like get right on the head and just, you've got no pressure on you. There's definitely still pressure, like it doesn't pause time or anything like, but you've got some time to try and think about it and make sure you do hit those shots that you want. So it's yeah, the accessibility stuff in that game is top notch. It's great. So I'm gonna keep playing that as much as I can, and hopefully we can have some more discussions about that in the chat as people start playing a bit more. Did we start I think we were going to start a chat, but did you start one? Like a spoiler?
Did I?
No,
Look,
we
I'll do it
discussed
right
that.
now, okay?
Yeah. And I'm sure this game will definitely be coming up at the end of the year when we start talking about Game of the Year content and that sort of thing. But again, if you haven't checked out our spoiler cast, go have a listen. We've got a varying degree of opinions and just sort of how we interpreted the story and yeah, our overall thoughts. So have a listen. It's pretty good. Big thanks to our Patreon members who help us do that. It's something we'll try and do a bit more of this year.
Thank you.
All right, what else do we have here that we talk about? Let's go down the list.
Shipbreaker. Hardbreaker Ship Space.
Hard.
I bought
It's
this.
a bad name for a game. Like, I don't like this name at all. I always forget what it is. But I think I had a look. Shipbreaker was already taken.
Right.
So yeah, maybe that's why it's called Hard Space Shipbreaker. Yeah, Shipbreakers is already a game. So yeah. Anyway, you bought it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I played it for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It told me how to get this antenna, grapple an antenna.
Yeah.
In the tutorial mission.
Yeah.
Grapple an antenna and then throw it through some thing.
The barge. Yeah.
The barge, yes. And I grabbed it, and I don't know what happened, but it let go of the antenna, and the antenna flung away, not at the barge.
Yeah.
And it just sort of yeeted itself towards the planet I was hovering around.
Yeah.
And I had to go follow the fucking thing. And so I followed it for like 30 seconds and I tried to fling it back towards the barge. And it did not go towards the barge. It went further away from the barge. So I followed it for another 30 seconds and it wasn't stopping. So I alt F4'd and then I got a Steam refund. I decided I just didn't want to play this. Let's float after a fucking antenna for minutes on end.
That's not what you do.
I'm pretty sure it is because that's what I did.
It sounds like you press the.
Time doing.
There's a grapple button, but there's also a like a push button as well. And that's what you use to push like stuff into the specific area you need to, like the furnace or the barge or the processor. So you grab stuff, you hit the push button, and it flings it to where you want to throw it. Sounds like you threw it into space.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe that's what happened. Or maybe what happened is I was trying to fling it with the little fucking panache at the barge using the grapple as opposed to using fucking push. And
it's the same. It's the same device.
Same device. Yeah, but you got to press a button to push it, right?
Yeah. So mouse 1 is to grab something and move it around. You can pull it towards you as well. And then I think it's maybe F is push. Like it'll throw the thing you've got attached. And
so instead of pushing it, I was trying to like fling it.
Yeah.
You know, like fling as opposed to push.
That
fling
doesn't really work.
Evidently. And I don't want to play any game that won't allow me to fucking
to fling stuff.
Yeah.
You can definitely like grab things and sort of drag it around, but at the start of the game, it's not as powerful. So it's sort of used to align something on where you want to fling it, and then you press the shoot button, and it'll fucking as you said, it'll yeet it to wherever you're going. All right, yeah, that's fair enough. I got up to the next level on my character, and I'm in a even bigger ship now, and I'm currently trying to figure out how to get into this ship, because the first time I did it, it didn't go well. I was sort of taking like a bunch of panels off of the side of this ship because I couldn't find the actual airlock to get in. And there's a bunch of scanning. So for people that don't know, Shipbreaker is a game where you dismantle ships. You pull them apart, and you've got a certain amount of time to do it.
And
And
you
so
got
I
money.
couldn't figure out how to get into this ship because the other ships that I've gotten through at this point in the game all have like airlocks. And you go in through the airlock, you close the airlock, you go inside, and then you depressurize the ship. And then you can open the airlocks and then start working on them, dismantling them. But this one is like, I couldn't find their entry. So I didn't know how to get in. So I just started like cutting fucking parts of the ship off with my giant like laser cutter and like ripping them off. And eventually I got into the cargo bay. And I opened up another area of the ship, and it started decompressing and basically just started exploding. And I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. I've
That's cool.
that's yeah, like I'm still
Should it not be
alive.
exploding?
I'm
Oh,
good.
okay.
And then I left and I went outside the ship, and the rear of the ship was just fucking in pieces. Like there was just crap everywhere. It was all cut up. The engine was all fucked up. It was a giant mess. So then I just started using that force, the like push button, and just pushing all this debris and shit into my furnace and trying to get money that way. It took fucking
Nice.
ages. But
Oh.
yeah, turns out that's not the right way to get in. But I ended up dismantling a decent chunk of this ship. But it's this thing where you kind of, that's the thing of the game is like, it's the puzzle element is trying to find, get to a ship, figure out the best way to dismantle it, and then you kind of do that a couple of times and you get quicker and quicker at doing it. And so you make money a lot quicker. You end up getting more unlocks and that sort of thing. So I have to go back in and try and work out like the best approach to get into this thing without it exploding. There's a bunch of new mechanics in there with like going through fuse boxes and pulling out fuses to dismantle some of the systems that are in there. Going in and finding fuel line systems and making sure there's no fuel in the tanks before you go in and start messing around with the engines and that sort of stuff. So yeah, there's definitely a lot more on this ship that I'm in at the moment. It's like 3 or 4 times bigger than the last ship I was dismantling. So it's getting pretty hectic in there. And I'm just over, I think, halfway through the act 1 of this 3-act campaign they're talking about. So yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with it. Like I've seen a bunch of people talking about it in different podcasts, and it's doing the rounds. Like people are getting right in there and checking it out. So yeah, maybe once they start.
It's like this Zen sort of experience where you just sort of, you take a fucking ship apart and do whatever
Yeah, it
you're
is.
fucking doing, and yeah, and then I spend like fucking 2.5 minutes chasing after a fucking antenna, and I'm like, just not really Zen.
You're not.
Not
I don't
feeling
chase
Zen.
after anything. Everything that you need to be doing is sort of in that one location. You start taking apart bit by bit. You should have just let it go. Like antennas, you don't worry about them. They're not important. You want the big chunky metal bits.
In the tutorial, it will not continue until you throw both antennas through the fucking barge. So I didn't have any fucking choice.
Have you tried being better at video games?
You know what? I thought about it. I considered the idea of simply being better at video games.
Yeah.
And I decided it wasn't for me.
Yeah, you were just like, no.
So I got something else instead. I got a real Zen game. A Zen game that anyone can understand. The Zen of Ultimate Fishing Simulator.
Okay,
With the VR DLC.
Right.
There's 2 games you can get. You can get Ultimate Fishing Simulator VR, or you can get Ultimate Fishing Simulator with the VR DLC.
Yeah.
And getting the DLC version costs about 50 cents extra.
Right.
But you get access. You can then if you enjoy the game, you can buy all the other DLC. And apparently, there's more content in the proper one. Like there's a few more fish and stuff, and more rods and whatnot.
Cool.
So yeah, you're better off getting the normal version and the VR DLC than you are getting the VR version by default. But yeah. So I got some Ultimate Fishing Simulator.
Cool.
And I was just sort of fishing, and I gotta ask. Okay,
can you fish with other people? Is it a co-op game? I'm in.
It's not co-op. It's not co-op. But you can you fish with other people.
Yeah, well, not both catching the same fish at the same time. Like you're holding a reel and I'm fucking, on the boat
You're
doing.
with the net or some shit. Or
Yeah.
no, we can be on the same boat and stuff. Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, but you don't like net for other people or whatever. So you've been fishing, right?
Yes,
All right. Which hand do you write with? You're right-handed, right?
I'm right-handed. Yeah.
All right. So
So you hold it
when
with
you're
the
fishing,
left, right?
hold the rod with your left and reel
Yeah.
with your right, right?
Yeah.
But when you pick your dominant hand in Ultimate Fishing Simulator, it does the fucking reverse.
Oh, that's weird.
Where you reel with your left. It's very confusing. So yeah, anyway.
Or have we been fishing wrong this whole time?
I don't know, hey. I was fucking wigging out, hey. Like as soon as I picked my dominant hand and it's got it in the and I'm like, this feels dumb.
Yeah.
But it is like you've got the rod in one hand and like you cast like
Because you use two hands, right?
Yeah.
I feel like
no,
if
you
I
don't
did
need-
that, it wouldn't work. I can't do that.
You don't need two hands to cast these rods.
Yeah.
You just use one. But actually, in real life, I only use one rod to cast. One hand to cast as well.
Okay.
I'm not fucking. It's not like I've got those big fucking. I'm not catching marlin and stuff. I think anyone who's been on a Discord has seen the sort of fish that I catch. Okay.
I don't even know you'd call them fish at that stage.
Anyway, show us a picture of a fish you've caught. Look, go on. Let's see it.
I can't because the camera are not big enough.
Because you've never caught a fish in your fucking life. Anyway, because you held a fucking rod with the wrong hand. So yeah, it's basically you just fucking go fishing, and it's very, very good. It's actually it's got some weird like oddities. There's like you can play realism mode where you don't have any of this stuff and it's just you and a rod and whatever. Or you play normal mode and it's got all these extra things like fish sensors and stuff like that. But the best thing it's got is, and I've only found this out by accident, when you're playing in VR, so I'm playing on my Vive and the Vive has like not that many buttons, right? But it's got a trigger and it's got this like this grip button that you can press. And if you press the grip button, like say, if you're like squeeze the fucking controller out of panic, press the grip button. If you press the grip button in Ultimate Fishing Simulator VR or VR DLC, it will take you to the I don't know, fucking hook camera. So it, like teleports you, and your camera is just looking at the hook, and you can sort of like look around because you're in VR. You like look around, pivoting off this hook, and yeah, you can see like fish swimming around and stuff like that. And you're like, oh, I hope I catch that fish, and then something about fucking a quarter of its size swims up and grabs the phone. But the best thing is, like by default, it has you facing the hook from the direction that you cast it in. So you're facing front, and the hook's just sitting in front of you. And then I was like looking around, and then I saw this fish, and I like sort of followed it with my head all the way around. And then there was like a fish like right next to my fucking face, and scared the piss out of me, which was pretty funny. But yeah, anyway, so what I learned while Ultimate Fishing in Ultimate Fishing Simulator is that the progression mechanics are kind of fucking dull as shit, and I wasn't really able to do the fishing that I wanted to do. I don't want to do deep sea fishing, but I also don't want to fish on the shores of some fucking shitty lake in the middle of America. I want something halfway between the two. You know, I want to be like saltwater fishing, but not trying to catch marlin and shit. And to do that, I had to cheat. So I just cheated and gave myself a bunch of levels because you can't even unlock. Like you're stuck on the initial starting area until you like level up and you catch a bunch of fish, which is not that hard to start off with, right? But by the time you get to like level 4, and you're trying to unlock the area for level 5,
Hmm.
it really starts to slow down a little bit. And what I found out when I was cheating is that it really starts to fucking slow down. Like the amount of XP you get like 11 XP for a tiny little fucking fish,
Yeah.
and then like it requires, I don't know, fucking 8,000 XP. You get to a point where you need like fucking 8,000 XP just to fucking level up,
Hmm.
and I'm so glad I skipped all of that shit because it's like it's it just doesn't work for the Zen fishing experience that I'm trying to have. You know, I'm just trying to fucking go out and sit there and do some not real fishing for a little while, and then maybe catch a fish, maybe not catch a fish. I haven't failed to catch a fish so far. But yeah, like I don't know. It's just it's good. Like I don't think failure or lack of failure is terribly important in my fish catching stakes. I'm pretty like I think I'd be okay if I failed to catch fish because I'm actually exceptional at not catching fish. I'm really very good at the process of never successfully catching a fish. But so I'm also pretty used to it. But yeah, anyway, it's a good good fun game.
Sorry,
Uh,
what are you getting from leveling up? Is it like different types of
like you
gear or?
unlock the new areas and stuff, and yeah, you buy gear and all this kind of stuff. You like there's money. I got no interest in being a part of any of that system,
Yeah.
right? Because I understand why it exists because I suppose some people would want the progress, like the progression mechanic, but like shit, man.
Hmm.
Yeah, if like it's just not what I want out of a fishing game. Like at some point, I think I've been reflecting on this quite a bit. What like I think The Last of Us Part 2 has sort of brought this up quite a bit. Like this idea of can't I just fucking play the game that I want to play? Right? Like
Yeah.
can't I just catch some fucking fish? Do I really need to go and level up and all this kind of shit? It's not like there's a fucking fishing story that's telling me. It's not telling me fucking a revenge story through fishing or some shit. I don't have to spend half this fucking ultimate fishing simulator playing as a fucking fish.
Hmm.
Like it's like I don't need any of this shit. Just let me turn on fucking aim assist. Let me turn on fucking expert listen mode or whatever the fuck it's called. Like let me do these things. That's fucking cool. Like at the end of the day, just let people play the games the way they want. Like especially not especially specifically if it doesn't impact anyone else's fucking playtime, right?
Hmm.
Specifically if it has no impact on how anyone else experiences the game,
Yeah.
then yeah, let people do whatever the fuck they want. So in a like Ultimate Fishing Simulator, it's not like you're competing against anyone. I guess I think there might be tournaments, but that doesn't fucking matter. Like that's not what I'm playing it for or anything
Sure.
like that. So and I guess on some level it'd be a bit like Pokemon tournaments where they like struggle for ages with the question of should hacked Pokemon be allowed, right? Hacked in this sense being Pokemon that like logically exist within the game, but instead of spending countless hours non-stop breeding Pokemon so they could get the traits that they want,
Hmm.
they instead just sort of skipped ahead to the point where they just modified the Pokemon to have the traits that they wanted.
Yeah.
At which point, I think what would be better is if the tournament organizers had a set of Pokemon that everyone could use, right? A standard set of Pokemon with the standard set of stats that everyone could use, as opposed to I guess, tacitly encouraging competitors to cheat, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, like with games like PUBG and Fortnite and Warzone, like the idea, the concept of cheating has taken on a different sort of slant.
Mhm.
But I think cheating in single player only games is, well, it hurts. Like it doesn't matter. It doesn't hurt anyone. All you're doing is modifying the game so that you can have the experience that you want. So fuck it. I'll do it every fucking day, man. Yeah. It's like, see, that doesn't even get to the bottom of it, right? Because then there's games like Dark Souls, right? Where I don't think an easy mode should exist in Dark Souls, but what about accessibility options? Maybe. Um, yeah, like I don't know. It's a very complicated topic.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Right.
Anyway, my major point is I cheated at Fishing Simulator and it made it way better. And now I can fish wherever the fuck I want and catch whatever I want, which is good.
Did
Yeah.
you ever jump in and play The Hunter with us?
Yeah.
Call of the Wild, like the sequel, or because I know we played the first
Oh no, I
one.
didn't play I didn't play the sequel with you. No.
Right.
Yeah.
I always look at that every once in a while. I'm like, oh, I should check that out because I remember I jumped in. I think it was when it was in early access or something like that.
Yeah.
But that was always one that I was like, oh, I should go back and
Yeah.
check that out at some stage. So maybe I'll have a look at it. Did you have that at all?
I think I've got that one. Let's have a squiz.
Oh, it's on sale at the moment. Oh, it's a free weekend or something right now.
I've got the Hunter Classic and the Hunter Primal.
Right. No, this is different. Call of the
Primal's
Wild
the
is
dinosaur one. The dinosaur one that I played with Heath, and it was fucking hilarious.
yeah.
Call of
The
the Wild.
Hunter is the original one. I've got that, but the Call of the Wild is their was the sequel in 2017, and that's the one it's free at the moment.
Right.
I remember playing with
10
Heath.
hours. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
I might jump in and check that out actually.
We'll play after this. What do you reckon? After you have dinner and I have lunch.
Yeah, we'll see how we go.
Oh, I just got fucking shut down.
No, we'll
Everyone
because
heard
we'll see what the time is once it's finished, but yeah, I'm keen to jump in for
it. Good
sure.
for another 16 hours, it says.
You have to download it.
Well, yeah, it'll take fucking. Fuck me, it's 55 gigabytes. Right, I will not start the download now, but hopefully you can download while I have lunch.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, cool. All right, what else do we have here? The Steam demos list. I had a look at this. This was the Summer Games Fest or something. I couldn't really find anything though that stood out to me. Like there was definitely stuff in there that I was interested in checking out, but I don't know. I just didn't feel like looking at any of it. It just kind of there was just too much. I feel like there was so much going on. I just didn't know how to like curate it all, or like what was good or anything like that. So how did you sort of go about that list?
It was not easy. It was I just sort of guessed. Just sort of looked through stuff. It took a lot of time
because there was no
and eventually I
like
landed on stuff that I thought would be cool.
sort by popular or anything like that. You know, when you go on a Steam, you can be like, oh, what's hot right now? Like,
There
what are people
was,
checking
if you
out?
scrolled all the way down the bottom of each page, but you also had to
Yeah.
scroll, like you had to sort it by like type of game that you wanted to look at, and the genres of games weren't that I guess weren't structured that well, so it was a bit difficult to work that shit out. I thought it took me a while to land on some stuff that I actually wanted to check out.
Cool.
But I did check out a bunch of stuff, so
Nice.
let's go through them. Ghostrunner is the cyberpunk style Mirror's Edge, where you're a robot ninja, cyborg ninja, with like running through, it's first person puzzle platforming,
Hmm.
where you're running through this I don't know, cyberpunk world, neon colors and industrial aesthetic, and yeah, you sort of fucking hammer through it as fast as you can. Each area is sort of a puzzle as you attempt to work out the what exactly you need to do to take down all the enemies without being shot yourself. If you get shot once, you're dead.
Yeah.
And yeah, like it's like quite violent and gory when you chop motherfuckers in half, and it's got a fantastic soundtrack. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. I wish listed it.
Yep. Cool.
It's one I'll definitely keep an eye on. I love puzzle platforming, so at the end of the day, I'm always keen to check out another one at this
I
point.
mean, there's that famous quote from you saying, was it like Mirror's Edge? I love it. It's the best game ever. I think that was a direct quote.
That is exactly what I said. Yeah, I wasn't. I wasn't. I guess I don't know. Targeted by a Kotaku article saying that my review cost a bunch of developers their bonuses or anything like that. That didn't happen. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's cool. And then there was Soldat 2. Did you ever play Soldat?
No.
Soldat was like think of it like the original Duck game. It was like a deathmatch game on like a side scrolling platformer style viewpoint.
Yep.
So 2D platform
Like
viewpoints.
Worms or something like that.
Yeah, like Worms. But it was like real time, uh, like multiplayer shooter style action, and yeah, it was always a lot of fun. It was one of those palate cleanser games that we'd always crack out at LAN Cafe or um, on a long night of playing games, and like I remember fucking we must have had servers for it on Game Arena for fucking years, like just for fucking ages. It was always very popular. Always went real well. People enjoyed it a lot, and yeah. So Soldat 2 is sort of more of the same. I didn't. I could only play a single player demo, so I didn't feel like it gave me the best feeling of how the game worked, but like I don't know. I think it was as a demonstration that the developer understands what made Soldat great. I think it worked as a demo, but primarily it was I don't know. I would have liked, you know, some evidence of the networking and stuff. The evidence that the game itself would work in multiplayer, because the entirety of Soldat for me was its multiplayer. So yeah, I don't know. I wish listed it because I'm very interested in playing Soldat 2, but yeah, I didn't think it was, as demos go. I didn't think it was a very successful demonstration of what was to come for Soldat. You know,
Hmm.
if that makes any sense. Okay, then we've got Rawmen. Rawmen is like a wacky um team-based multiplayer shooter style game, sort of almost like a PC version of what's that fucking painting, Splatoon.
Yeah.
Um yeah, almost like that, but a everyone's got ramen basically, instead of paint. And
Yep.
so like all of the abilities and stuff hinge on this ramen style ramen related stuff. Like you run around with a pot and a ladle and you like scoop out and throw it at people, but like the animations work really quick and it works quite well. This was a difficult one to get a decent idea of um as a demo because I couldn't get a fucking game with a ping that was even remotely reasonable.
Right. Yeah.
So it was very difficult for like one of the games I played, uh the entire team's models didn't show up. So
Hmm.
everyone on the other team was just fucking invisible the whole time,
Sure. Yeah.
which was extremely difficult to fucking work out. I actually that was the first game I played. I had to go look up whether or not it was supposed to be like everyone was supposed to be fucking invisible. I'm
Yeah.
like, is that how it's but anyway. So yeah, as demos go, this one wasn't terribly successful, but it's I guess a tricky one to demo. You know, I guess on some levels it does sort of highlight the key failure point for a game like this, which will be whether there is a community of players available to play it, because it will only be fun if there is a community large enough to make it playable. And it was very clear to me that it was not playable at like with any kind of ping. So that's one keep in mind. I had this wish listed before the demo came out.
Right.
So yeah. Anyway, um, interesting game, but yeah, I don't know. Not a not a great demo to sell a person on a game, I guess.
Hmm.
Then the Riftbreaker, pretty interesting game. Sort of a cross between a an RTS and a uh like action RPG.
Oh yeah, I saw this one. Yeah.
Yeah, you play a chick in a mech, and yeah, you go out, you sort of go into these alien planets, and you sort of build up your base. And there's all these things you got to fucking pay attention to, mineral acquisition, and all that kind of stuff. And then there's you got to make your walls and build up defenses, and you can go out as your hero and go destroy shit as well. And yeah, all the ways you like manage your resources and stuff hinge are like there's layers to it. You can make like electricity is a really good example because you can make like a uh power plant that draws energy from the primary mineral that you farm.
Right.
I can't remember what it's called, like cobalt or some shit.
Tiberium.
You can Sorry? Tiberium, yeah. Yeah, you can build that, or you can build wind farms, which are heinously inefficient, so you need a lot of them, but they don't require resources. Or you can build solar farms, which are far more efficient than wind farms, but they don't produce any energy at all at nighttime. And you've got to sort of like manage that sort of like that balancing act. Um, There are a couple other power plants as well, but those like in the demo, those were the ones I got to use the most. And yeah, you wind up in this situation where there's that classic RTS balancing act, but also like you're able like the act of exploring the map is quite interesting because when as you do it, you play as the like you've got a real connection. Your player character is the person in the mech doing that exploration. So, there's that apprehension that you feel when you find somewhere particularly scary, but at the same time, like you're still in a powerful mech and stuff, and so that stuff's pretty cool. And yeah, you gotta I guess just sort of that there's a lot of fucking plates in the air that you got to keep spinning. And it feels cool trying to make sure you've got enough resources to build up your defenses and keep your base healthy and growing at the same time, building up your mech to be more powerful and unlocking more stuff in that sense. And it's like graphically gorgeous. The color scape is fantastic. There's all these different alien style colors, and there's blood and guts flying everywhere every time you like chop up the aliens and stuff like that. And yeah, like it's just I think this was probably one of the best fucking demos I played.
Yeah, it looks cool.
Um, yeah, they did a really fucking good job executing and showcasing their game with this one.
That was the one that I saw that I was like, oh, I want to check that out. But at the same time, when I saw that it was an RPG, I was like, oh, maybe I'll wait for it to actually come out and just be able to play for the whole thing myself.
Well, like you really only played the demo only showcased the tutorial mission. So
Right.
well, that's all I played of it. I don't know if it went any further in, but like I guess I did. Yeah, I didn't want to go any further than the tutorial for the same reasons as not wanting to spoil the full experience myself. But yeah, so no, it's a pretty cool fucking game. It's definitely one I'm gonna well, I've wishlisted obviously, and yeah, I'm definitely keen to play it when it comes out.
Yep.
Yep. Then there was I'm like uninstalling all of these. I left them in my fucking Steam library so I wouldn't have to remember to write them down.
Yep.
But I'm uninstalling them as I talk about them. Then there was Shady Knight, and Shady Knight feels very much. It's sort of like another first person puzzle platformer with a huge emphasis on like movement and traversal, and it reminds me a little bit of do you remember Dark Messiah of Might and Magic? Was that the first person Might and Magic game?
I never played it.
I just want to make sure that I've got the right one. Um,
Looks like it
like
from the pictures.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is it. Um, Dark Messiah and Might and Magic sort of like had this broad uh depth to it that like that doesn't seem apparent in Shady Knight. Shady Knight seems more like a puzzle game, while Dark Messiah was more of an RPG game. But in terms of like mechanics of movement and combat, they're very similar.
Hmm.
And so Shady Knight winds up feeling a little bit like a more like drawn back, a smaller scale Dark Messiah, um, where you sort of like it's got this huge emphasis on your ability to move and fight. And so you do these things like sliding or like jump climbing, and then you can do like these overhead swings while jumping. And so if you climb up a ladder and stuff, or up a couple of boxes, and then jump off, uh, and strike, you'll do more damage on the way down the higher up you come from, and all that kind of stuff. And then you can slide, and while you slide, you can pick up weapons. So what you can do is you can throw a weapon at someone, and they'll drop their sword, and you can slide into them, pick up their sword, and then slice the next dude. And it winds up being this game where you sort of chain together these sick fucking like action sequences, like these first person melee action sequences where you're combining all kinds of things like you kick someone into a fucking wall, and then you throw a sword at the other guy, and you pick up the first dude's sword, and then you slide over and chop a fucking spider to death or some shit, and kick someone off the fucking ledge. And yeah, it just winds up feeling really cool.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, it does. it feels quite small scale. So it's gonna be like my interest in this one is gonna hinge like it was real good to play, but it's gonna hinge very specifically on the depth of the
Yeah,
game itself. If
like
you
how
just
much
wind
there
up
is.
doing yeah, if it's just sort of like puzzles, it will wind up getting a little bit tired quite quickly. What
Hmm.
made Dark Messiah really work was that as you got further into the game, you unlocked more and more stuff. The magic portion of it really expanded and stuff. So,
Yep.
yeah, there's I don't know if that's in this, and so it will be interesting to keep track of, to watch and see how it goes. But yeah.
Cool.
And the last one I played was Conscript. And I don't know if this was actually in the Summer of Games thing. The demo is still available to download,
Okay.
but it's a World War One survival horror game where you play a French soldier at Verdun, and you're in the trenches, and yeah, it sort of plays like like old school Resident Evil, um, but with the World War One spin on it. So
Hmm.
you've got these German soldiers marching around as sort of the main bad guys, and you're moving from area to area and room to room and searching for like the items you require to move on. And there are these, you're solving puzzles and managing inventory, and you can only save at certain spots as long as you've got a certain item. You need like this match to light a flame to reflect on your time or some shit, as opposed to a typewriter. And yeah, you like it's a game where it feels like a game where you'd want to have a notebook next to you to note things down. I mean, there's a padlock that has a numerical lock that you can solve by like looking around, and it like there's the solutions scratched into a wall somewhere, and so you can do that. But it's a couple of screens away, so it's probably a good idea to fucking note it down. Or you acquire half a blade, and to get the rest of the blade you need to find that. And it's that classic survival horror thing of, yeah, you've got to manage exactly what you've got, what you're carrying, and uh you've also got to keep in mind where you've been and where you're going, and what you've seen, and all that kind of stuff, so that you can make progress. And it's a very interesting execution on that idea, uh, because yeah, it's survival horror, but set in a real world conflict. It doesn't appear to be about spooky ghosts and fucking zombies. It's about the horrors of World War One, and I think it's done quite well. It's got a fantastic soundtrack, and um, yeah, like great ambient noise, and like quite simplistic in its combat and stuff. It feels, but yeah, you wind up in this situation where yeah, you just sort of the further you go, the longer you go on, the more of it you see. The horror element of this survival horror is more the horror that was World War One and the trenches of World War One. And
Hmm.
so yeah, it's quite a good game. Yeah, you can still download the demo, it would appear. I don't know how long that's going to be available for, but it's definitely worth checking out. Though probably the biggest release date 2021. Come on. Probably the biggest drawback I noticed was like I don't know what it is. Some of the fucking it does these cutscenes sometimes, and they go at fucking 4 frames a second, and they look like, remember like those old like from Diablo One. Like they're a cutscene from Diablo One, like
Hmm.
a 640p fucking cutscene that's been scaled up to my fucking 4K monitor, and
Right.
they look like you can count the fucking pixels, and you're like, Jesus Christ, this is not good looking. And then you go into the game, and you're like, oh, it's fine. I don't actually care that much about the atmosphere of the game is so good that it doesn't really matter in the end. But yeah, anyway, yeah, it's good.
Awesome.
Conscript, that one's called, and yeah, you can get the demo right now.
Cool. So yeah, there was definitely a lot of games to sort of go through in that list, and I even looked at some of like the VR ones as well, because like you said, there was like a genre tab at the top, and you sort of flick through each one and see what there was. It just seemed like there was too much.
Yeah.
So yeah, at least we checked out some of them. That's cool. That's Riftbreaker?
Yeah.
I've added that to my list because that was one that stood out. That looked really cool.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, if you've got some time, check out Conscript as well, because it is a really cool execution on an idea.
Awesome. All right. How about some Apex?
Oh yeah.
Apex Legends. So you fired this up. You've been playing a bit of it recently.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been playing quite a bit of it. I had an interview with the game director and the design director, whose names directly escape me. So that's good.
It's not Drew McCoy, I know that.
Chad Grenier and Jason McCord. Yeah, not Drew McCoy. Yeah, and yeah, I had a chat with them yesterday, and because I am a fucking professional, I wanted to be across the game that I was talking to them about. So yeah, fired up some fucking Apex to jump back in, have a squiz at it. Yeah, I've actually played a bunch. I've been mostly playing the limited time event. So at EA's thing last week, they announced that they were EA Play last. They announced that they were doing season 5 of Apex Legends, and they're introducing lost treasures, and it came with a bunch of other stuff as well, including mobile respawns and an area on the map called Crypto's Map Room, and yeah, all this kind of stuff that you could use to sort of check out to expand the game. The stuff that they're trying to do to experiment and grow Apex. By all measures, Apex Legends is doing its best ever. It's still growing day to day. According to their measures, I should clarify. And yeah, it seems to be it's apparently doing very well. I haven't played it in a while, not since fucking Warzone came out, or like since we talked about it that last time that we played it. Just noticing how much slower it feels. But I haven't played Warzone in a little while, and I have been playing a lot of Rainbow Six. And so I wind up in a situation where Apex actually doesn't feel that slow anymore because of the amount of Rainbow Six I've been playing.
Apex feels slow. Trust me.
Yeah, yeah. Oh no, I totally understand that it's comparatively slow, but because I haven't, I guess, it's like if you spend all your time in the cold, then these fucking 6-degree days in Sydney wouldn't feel. You'd be like, oh, that's not that cold. But for me, it's actually pretty cold. And yeah, for me, Apex doesn't feel that slow at the moment because my immediate reference point is Rainbow, which is slow. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, just had a bunch of games. Took me a while to get back into the proper swing of it, but was having fun. The limited time event is shotguns and snipers. It's not my ideal event, I guess. Both are weapons that I wouldn't normally pick up or normally favor, but yeah, as a result, because everyone's got them, I don't feel that bad. Like it doesn't feel that bad. If only I was restricted to shotguns and snipers, and everyone else could use whatever the fuck they wanted, it would feel like shit. But yeah, it's kind of okay because yeah, it sort of works.
Yep.
Anyway, yeah, got a win, got a fuck ton of top threes, and just couldn't get the win in the end. Uh, Everyone starts with an Evo shield and a Mozambique in this mode. And as we found out, we landed at the fucking map room to check that shit out. And it's cool. You activate the map room and you can see where everyone is. It's especially cool when I've gone there like most of the time. If the drop zone is anywhere close to it, I'll insist. I'll try to insist to the randos I'm playing with that we go there. Because it's got shitloads of good loot, and yeah, it's very cool when you're looking at the map screen. Because this giant like room-sized area is filled with a map of the map, and yeah, when you activate it, it shows you where everyone else is, and if anyone's real close, they show up in like sort of red, and you can see that they're coming in, and yeah, a couple of times, yeah, you see them just fucking making their way in, and you know roughly where they are, but they know roughly where you are because you just activated the fucking map, and yeah, it's quite tense, but a very cool execution of an idea, and sort of like a UAV in Warzone that only triggers once, I guess, and does the entire fucking map. And it tells you where the next circle is going to be, and there's a lot of benefits to it. But anyway, yeah, it's a cool idea. It works out pretty well. But yeah, as we found out when we landed there, quite off the beaten path. If you never see anyone and the circle happens to just be on top of you the entire fucking time,
Yeah.
you go into the top three with white shields against people with red shields, and you're pretty fucked. You don't really have much fucking chance in that situation. But yeah. Yeah, I've just been having fun. Like the amount of fun I have on a game to game basis, I find hinges specifically on whether or not I get to be jump master. Because if I'm not jump master, I swear to God, whoever is will take us to whatever is directly below the immediate fucking drop zone. Immediately below. And it's just a shit fight. It's an absolute fucking nightmare. So yeah, generally I'll fucking hate it if that is the situation. But if that's not the situation, and I get to be jump master and I get to take somewhere semi fucking sensible, it's good. And we have a fucking good game. And we
Yeah.
I'll land us somewhere medium hot, and we'll get in some fights early, and everyone will walk out of that first area with fucking like blue armor, and then we'll go try to find some more fights with halfway decent stuff, and yeah, just have fun. But yeah, it's fun. Like I enjoy Apex. I'm reminded now of how much I enjoy Apex, although yeah, it can be kind of shit if everyone else in it is garbage. Anyway,
Yeah. It's very daunting to look at that new menu that they've got in there now with like there's like your battle pass, and then there's some other thing they're doing, and then there's like new challenge systems, and then you've got this treasure thing. It's just like, it's not like I haven't played that game recently. It's just like, I don't know what is all this stuff. There's a lot going on.
Out of control. Yeah. Yep. And I feel like they don't make it like you gotta click what I don't know. It just seems not terribly obvious. They need a system. I like how Call of Duty does it, where if you want to do quads, it's got a button. If you want to do trios, button. That dumb fucking pay zone map or whatever the fuck it's called, payday or whatever it's called, where you just make money, blood money mode. You click on that button. In this, you got to like bring up the fucking mode select, and then you select, and then you like just I don't know. Feels like they could definitely present things in a little bit of a better way.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway.
Apex still good. I
Apex.
I haven't checked out the new legend yet though. I unlocked her, but
Yeah,
I haven't
Loba.
played.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I play a lot of Lifeline because she's got that fucking like now. As long as your Qbot is available,
Hmm.
you run up when someone's down. You press E and it revives them without you having to do anything. So you just sort of press E on them to start it, and the Qbot will revive them with the big like armor thing, and you can continue to fight, which is pretty cool. So there's that. So I play as her. I've played a bit as Wraith. They've changed her a little bit, and
Okay.
so she takes longer to start her portal, or
Yep.
sorry, to start her phase out. So she can't use it as a get out of jail free card anymore. And I've played as what's his face, Octane, runny guy. He gets a double jump off his jump pad now, and he runs quite a bit faster when he boosts himself. He can
Nice.
bust his way out of stun as well. He's pretty good. It's just a bit tricky working out how exactly the best way to use him. I like Octane and Lifeline because I can heal myself without having to have items. Octane passively heals himself, and Lifeline has the Qbot. Yeah.
So what did you talk to the devs about? Can you tell us or?
I think so. I don't think there's an embargo. Let me have a squiz. Let me have a quick fucking look. Yeah, there's no embargo. Yeah, we spoke about a bunch of stuff. I was asking him about the loot situation. I brought up the idea that we always try to guess the order in which we're going to get 2 whites and a blue. Is it white, blue, white, white, blue, blue, white, white? That's the most enjoyment we get out of fucking Apex crates. Does that seem like a successful execution on your loot box system? If that's what we're getting out of it, is a fun game of guessing how you're going to fuck us this time. They did not enjoy that question. They were not thrilled. Yeah. I asked them, did they just hate Pathfinder? They nerfed Pathfinder somewhat again by nerfing his grapple. You can his zipline. You can no longer infinitely jump on the zipline.
Yeah.
And they obviously nerfed the shit out of him in the patch previous to this. So I asked them, do you guys hate Pathfinder, or would you say you hate all robots in general? And that one went down pretty well. They reckon they don't hate Pathfinder. Talked to him about bringing the game to the Switch.
Yeah.
Which we had a really good discussion about that. I think got some really good answers about that.
Or
And,
mobile platforms.
No, they weren't talking about mobile
Yeah,
platforms.
but that has been pretty much confirmed.
Yes, but I was warned off it at the start of the interview.
Yeah.
Like, we're only talking about the platforms that are confirmed, but we are happy to talk about Switch, and we're happy to talk about crossplay.
Yeah.
But we are only talking about the platforms that have been confirmed. And I'm like,
Well,
oh,
I mean,
cool.
Andrew Wilson confirmed that, so it's kind of
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But yeah, it talks about like skill-based matchmaking and stuff, and how they're going to balance that. They were saying that by default, console players will get matched with console players, and PC players will get matched with PC players. But I got them to broaden it out. So it'll be controller players versus controller players, not necessarily PC versus PC. So if you plug a PC a controller and you play on controller on your PC,
What
then
if you
match you.
plug a controller in matchmake, unplug the controller, and then
Genius,
play and
genius.
just
That
smash
is
people all day?
just to get some fucking chicky D's.
Or just leave the controller plugged in and don't
Yep.
use it. Bam.
Genius, even better. But yeah, so Yeah, talked about all of that. I think it was a half-hour long chat, and
Mm.
a lot of it I would say was about the Switch and skill-based matchmaking and loot boxes. So it was a lengthy chat. I'm not sure where it's going yet because it might be going on a project I'm currently working on, but because I recorded video for it, and yeah, I got some really good answers, especially about the Switch
Mhm.
stuff. But I got no idea. So it sort of hinges on that, really.
Cool.
It was a fantastic chat. So when it does go somewhere, I will definitely let everyone know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. I had Warzone on here, but I've taken it off because I don't really have much to say about it. I played a little bit with Nate the other day, but I thought maybe you'd played some, but you haven't.
Not really,
And
no.
I think that's a thing that we've talked about a lot. That I would like to see in Warzone some more. You know, I enjoy the sort of small gameplay things they're doing in the game because that's not really something we're seeing a lot out of Apex with. But at the same time,
Yeah.
Apex is doing a lot of big map changes and um, they've got to tweak legends with their how their abilities work and that sort of stuff. So Warzone has not done any map updates at all. So,
They definitely got to do something, I think.
yep. Command and Conquer Remastered. I got a code for this thanks to Nate, and I jumped in and played it. What an excellent port! Not a port. What an excellent remaster. It's fantastic. Like
Yep.
the detail that they go into to make this feel like the old games. Like when you first fire it up and it does the fake install screen, like the one you actually have to use to sit through when you would install a game, and it'd be like, select your sound card and select your graphics card. And now it's just like HD graphics and HD sound, and then it pretends to install graphics and audio and all that sort of thing. Like it's just a video, but back in the day when you installed Command and Conquer, it went through that. Like that was the thing you would sit there and watch. They had this animated installation screen. When you install games these days, you just press, you go through the EULA and press next, and it's a little bar and off it goes. But it was always fun having those Command and Conquer animated installation screens, and it'd sit there and flick through it. Like you'd always get a kick out of seeing them. So I like that they've included that in there, but it's just like a funny little, haha, we're upgrading all the graphics and all that sort of stuff. That's really cool. And I didn't realize that this had Red Alert in it at all. Like I thought it was just Command and Conquer.
That's all I spoke about when I talked about this the other day.
Yeah, that yeah, but I didn't realize it was actually in the game as well. So I fired it up. I'm like, wait, what? Oh, okay, fair enough. But I got like 11 missions deep into GDI, at least so far. And that game looks exactly how I remember it looking, but then you like switch over the you can sort of toggle between the old graphics, like how it used to look and how it looks now. And when it's really weird how when the game first starts up, it's showing you the old graphics, and then you press spacebar and it just goes bam and switches across to HD. But when you see it in HD, you're like, no, this is exactly how I remember it. Like it looked like this. What are you talking about? So that stuff is really strange, and it plays extremely well. I like all the like you can. I'm playing on like 4K, I think, and I've just zoomed. You can like scroll wheel out, and it'll just zoom all the way back, or you can zoom back into normal default. That stuff is really cool. I haven't had any issues with the pathfinding that I think you were having with, and I don't know why that is. I think I changed some of my buttons around because you could remap buttons to like right click or move or left click or select or whatever you want to do it like that. But just I guess the way I group units together. Like I'll group these medium tanks are like 1, and then my scouts will be 2, and grenadiers will be 3, and then I sort of move them around in like little units, and so they don't get sort of stuck and convoluted in like one little area where they're just sort of trying to get past each other on a bridge or something like that. But so I didn't have any issues with that. That game is really hard. Like there's some missions in there where like, wait, I lost. like, okay, fair enough. Like normally you play games these days and you like they're not really challenging, but this one like kicks the shit out of you. It is hard. Some of the missions on there. I looked up like twice a guide to see how to beat it because like I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Like what the fuck am I supposed to do? And it was kind of like just the dude going, you just run. You get from here to there, and that's the thing you need to do. And I was like, oh okay, right. I was just playing it wrong. But back in the day, that's the thing, right? Is that you would play these games back in the day, and you'd play it for months and like sit there and work your way through all these levels. But me being impatient, where I'm playing like 6 games a week, I'm like, all right, we got to get through this. Let's go. Come on, hurry up. Why am I dying? What's going on here? I don't have time for this. What am I doing wrong? And so you jump onto a guide and you're like, oh shit, okay, yeah, fair enough. It's not that thing where you sit there and have to try and figure out like what you're doing wrong. After like the 4th attempt, I'm just, all right, what do I need to do? So yeah, the game is makes you think about your actions and how you're doing it in interesting ways. So I dig that. Just having fun with it, just remembering like all the cutscenes and like lines of dialogue, and because I played a lot of Command and Conquer, like most of Command and Conquer, up until I think we talked about this recently, but like 3 or it might have been 4. I think no, yeah, I played Command and Conquer 1, 2, and 3, and then the 4th one was the blue one, with Kane standing in the front, right? So that was the one I don't think I played much of. I was like, whatever. But like Tiberian Sun and Tiberian Dawn, played the crap out of those games. They were really good. And then even Command and Conquer, the original ones, played a lot of covert operations and the weird mods they had. Like this has all of that stuff in it. There's so many missions. If you're a Command and Conquer fan and you want to like, this is it's probably one of the most perfect remasters we've had in terms of leaving everything intact, but upgrading like all the graphics and sounds, and then giving you the ability to check out some of the mods the old expansions that were on there, and then it's got mod support built into the game as well, so you can, I don't know what type of mods are out there, but you can chuck mods in the game, which is really cool. It's an awesome remaster. I feel like that such a massive stark contrast difference between what EA has done with Command and Conquer and what Blizzard did with the World of Warcraft remaster, and how the two communities have sort of embraced an EA game as opposed to the Blizzard game, which usually is the one that people, normally love the Blizzard game. So yeah, I'm digging it a lot. I think it's really cool, despite the fact that you were saying that you liked the second in the series, whether it's Command and Conquer 2 or Red Alert 2, a lot more. Like, I agree with you. I definitely like those games a lot more, but I think these ones play extremely well still. Like, I still had a blast playing with them. I would recommend, if I could go back, because one thing you can't do is change the difficulty, I would love to just play on easy and just smash tanks out constantly. Because at the moment, I'm playing on normal and I'm playing on like the fastest game speed, and I've got to wait for my harvesters to get all the Tiberian and come back, and then there's sort of lulls in between where I'm just waiting for my Tiberium to get back to me, and so I can build 20 tanks and just send them over and just demolish everything. That's kind of the experience that I want out of the game, as opposed to sending 15 and maybe destroying them, because if I don't, then I know the AI is going to cheat. I hate that in Command & Conquer, but AI will cheat and they'll start rebuilding things where they're not supposed to be rebuilding things anymore, because technically you have to be within a certain limit of a previous structure, and that's not a rule in this one, which really annoys the crap out of me, but I still have fun with it. So I think it's an excellent remaster. It's one of the best ones in there. Like the music and the sound of the units and the graphics and just everything's done so well. And it's just made me want Command and Conquer 2. Like, I looked it up. I was like, can I get this anywhere? Like, where can I get it from? It's if they don't do it, it would surprise me. If they don't do a Command and Conquer 2 remastered with Red Alert 2 and Tiberian Sun, was it Tiberian Sun? The second one?
Yep.
Yeah, it would shock me, because that thing would just print money. If they take the same amount of care that they've done with Command & Conquer Remaster, man, I'm there absolutely, and I will play the crap out of it because I think the gameplay mechanics in those two games are so much better than the original game. Even Red Alert, at the end of the day, I think it's just a skin. It's a different like it's just a skin. Like even some of the textures look the same in terms of the map textures. It's just the units look a little bit different. The buildings look a little bit different. They've added a couple extra units in there that behave differently, but they pumped that out. I'm pretty sure they pumped that one out pretty quick. It was like a year later, between Command and Conquer and Red Alert. So yeah, it's definitely the sequels that I want to jump in and check out because I had a lot of fun with those ones, and I think they did more interesting things in those games with missions and that sort of stuff. So yeah. Anyway, if you want to sort of go back on a nostalgia trip, it's hard not to pass this one up because it's an excellent remaster. So check that out. Did you ever play it on PC or were you on console or like how did you play Command & Conquer?
I played fucking Command & Conquer 1 on PlayStation. I played Red Alert on PC,
Right.
and then yeah, everything after that I played on PC. It was a lot harder on console. I'll tell you what, Command & Conquer. But I haven't actually played Command & Conquer in the remaster. Maybe we should play a game of that in multiplayer as opposed to Red Alert. I mean, I'm not assuming it's going to be better, but it'll be different certainly. And yeah, I don't think the pathfinding will be any better because, as you say, Red Alert was pretty much just a skin of Command & Conquer. But
Yeah.
it couldn't be fucking worse.
Yeah. So yeah, Command & Conquer Remastered out now. Check it out. And what else we got here? Rainbow Six Siege.
Steel Wave is out and available to play right now. Steel Wave is obviously the latest update pack, reworked house, and like I don't know, fucking new stuff. Two new characters, reworks for Amaru, all that kind of stuff. I've found a brand new revolutionary way to play Rainbow Six. I don't know if I mentioned this last week, but what I do is I mute every single person on my fucking team, both voice and text chats, and then I just play. And then I just play the fucking game my own way, doing my own thing without having to worry about fucking 14-year-old cunts sitting there telling me that I don't know how to fucking hold a fucking angle. And lo and behold, what happens when I don't have some dipshit being angry at me because I stole their favorite character, or I didn't spawn in the fucking location they wanted me to, or I didn't put the fucking Banshee down in the spot they wanted me to. What I've noticed is that I am MVP probably 9 times out of fucking 10 because I just do my thing and I have fun, and it's just a fun old game. It's just a fun game where I just having fun. It's cool. It's real cool. Rainbow Six is a fantastic game where you never fucking talk to any other person who plays Rainbow fucking Six. I was playing with G-Man and Nate in the Gap channel. We had a 4-stack going. G-Man brought a mate, and it's fun playing with people who are speaking when you know those people, and you can tell them stop being fuckwits.
Yeah.
And they'll listen to you. But yeah, it's not so much fun when it's just fucking dipshits nonstop yapping about fucking nothing. And actually, there was I did miss it a little bit. I did miss the peace and quiet a couple of times when I was playing with the 4-stack. Mostly we were playing Coastline. This specific moment I'm thinking about, we were playing Coastline, and Nate and G-Man, Nate and G-Man were trying to coordinate to kill a single fucking dude who was on their side of the map, and I was playing as Malusi. She's a 3-speed, 1 armor, and I had roamed like the opposite side of the fucking map, and the entire rest of the team was breaching on me. And so on Coastline, we were in the bedroom bomb site, and they were trying to the lads were trying to fucking lock down the person had breached the bathroom, the rooftop bathroom on Coastline where you drop in and then you can go into the bomb site from there. They were trying to lock down that fucking rooftop breach. Meanwhile, 4 members of the other team were literally on top of me, and these two are fucking yelling at each other. Like, no, they're coming through the fucking. No, they haven't come through the roof yet. No, spray through the wall. Spray through the wall. Yeah, do it now. Go now. Shoot. Throw on fucking C4. And I'm like fucking desperately trying to fucking pay any attention to any fucking noise that isn't them yelling at each other to shoot one motherfucker while I cap 4 other motherfuckers. And I got 3 of them. And I got killed by the last one because he fucking managed to flank me and I wasn't able to hear him. And that was pretty aggravating. But otherwise, yeah, no, it's fun when you can, when you tell people to stop being fuckwits. Or people just aren't fuckwits because they know you, and people aren't fuckwits to people they know. But yeah, if I'm playing solo, and it is the game I play solo most of the time now, yeah, I just have a lot of fun playing it on mute and amusing everyone and just doing my thing. And yeah, I don't need to hear what other people are fucking doing or saying, or by default my I don't have all chat on. It's just a game where I shoot some, they could be fucking bots for all I give a fuck. They just there. I auto pick Malusi every single fucking time. She's fucking amazing. And with a good Malusi, revolutionary. She changes the landscape of every fucking map. She's got to be nerfed as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I think might change a little bit as people start to learn. There's still a fuck ton of people who, because I can still chat and I find myself I can still write. I assume anyone who hasn't muted me will see it. And I still find myself writing a lot of the time that you have to bash the Malusi to actually get rid of it, or bash or ash. You got to explode the fucking thing. So you can do it with a grenade, or you can do it with Ash or Zofia, but it doesn't work if all you're doing is shooting it, just regular shooting it. Even if you fucking Thatcher it doesn't work to shoot it. You still got to fucking bash the fucking thing. So yeah, I'll wind up in this situation where I'll type that, and that's it. That's all I'll say to people on my team, because they'll walk into a room and just fucking empty a clip at this thing, and then I'll walk up and bash it once and then walk through. On the other side, I've noticed a lot of it's almost as good as the noise itself, so Malusi's gadget, the Banshee, makes this wah, and it slows people down like they're moving through barbed wire or they're being zapped by Clash. And I like it for the noise more than the fucking slowdown. I mean, the slowdown's obviously fantastic, but the noise is what I use it for, because I'll put it down somewhere and then I'll just face the other fucking way. And as long as I've got hard cover behind me, so I can't be fucking wall banged, I'm good. As soon as I hear the wah, I know I just fucking turn around, stand up, and fucking pop him in the brain, and then I duck back down again and wait for the next wah. But even better than the wah noise is when you hear fucking just torrents of bullets being fired at this fucking thing, because they don't know that you got to fucking explode it before you can. So they'll walk up, they'll see it, they'll shoot it some more, work out that's not working, and then they'll walk up, and every single time, if you hear them shoot it a couple of times and then they'll without any more gunshots, they're looking directly at the thing. They're always looking directly at it. So when you pop your fucking head up, they're not even looking at you. They're not covering angles anymore. You just fucking blast them in the brain. It's good times. So that's pretty cool. I play a lot of Ace as well, just because I fucking love the AK with the ACOG, with the NATO ACOG. It's a real good gun. I hate Fuse's version, the AK, but Ace fucking gun is awesome. I don't love his fucking gadget. It's the 3-stage explodey thing. I don't love it, but It's not bad. I just compared to Malusi's fucking amazing, man. Like she's my insta pick. That T5 SMG from Legion is fucking like it's my favorite gun in the game easily. And if they stop like nerfing Legion, I'd probably just play Legion. But they keep fucking doing my shorts boy bad. So yeah, like just finding creative places to put the fucking Malusi. Holy shit, it is phenomenal. There's one spot in house now in the kids' bedroom, which and it's a hard wall, and you climb up on the bed, and then you semi vault up onto the bookshelf next to the bed, and you can put it up right at the top, like just below the top of the fucking wall, and it gets the entire fucking room. It gets the window entry. If they open the window, it gets them outside the fucking window. Like it is just the fucking worst. Like you literally, the only fucking solution for that thing is to Ash or Zofia it, because there's no way you ever climb up on that fucking wall without being murdered. Climb up to bash it without being fucking murdered. Like there's, and you can't like, you'd have to perfect cook a fucking grenade to actually get it to explode the fucking thing. But if it lands on if the grenade lands on the ground, it doesn't arc high enough to fucking damage it. Like it is just disgusting. It's the only places I've found to put it. Otherwise, I just put it like people love. I've seen a lot of like when I don't get to pick Malusi when I'm not fucking quick enough on the draw. People like put it on walls next to doors. Terrible plan. No, what you do is you put it 3 meters in from the door, so they've still got to walk in or walk around the door. Like if you put it next to the door, they've got to breach through the door to actually trigger it. But if you put it in front of the door, as soon as they walk in front of the door, the noise. And it doesn't matter if they immediately fucking do something about it, sledge it or like bash it or ash it or whatever. Like you still get the fucking noise. You know they're there. Everyone knows they're there. And yeah, you can move on from there. House rework. I don't know, man. I feel like there are a lot of fucking run out opportunities on it now. There are a lot of fucking balconies on the outside of the upstairs area of fucking house that make it like it was always pretty bad for runouts. Especially the garage breach. And my instinct for blocking the garage, like you know that window above the garage doors where people always like to either peek or run out, jump out. My instinct to block against that is I still put a fucking drone there, but now you can like jump out onto the balcony out of kids' bedroom or the room behind kids' bedroom. You can still get out of the fucking you can still go out the fucking bathroom. There's another little balcony next to what's now known as Pink Room, which was the under construction room. Like, there's a lot of fucking platforms for people to walk out onto and get a lot of fucking. And the game still has too long. It's still, honest to God, believe it's however many years since that game came out, and I still honestly believe that the first, like, you should not have any fucking time at all. The moment you breach what is effectively the outside area as a defender, you should be fucking lit up. Everyone should fucking know exactly where you are. And that should just be it, right? Like I do not understand why there is any time limit wherein you are not like lit up. The
Was it 3
game,
seconds now or something?
yeah, something like that. It used to be like 5 or something, right? Like,
Yeah, it used to be.
fucking forever. It was heinous, and they've reduced it a little bit, but it should be 0. It should be 0 seconds. The moment you are outside, you should be lit up. Like, I understand why on some level they do it, and it's to prevent attackers from spending their entire lives from sitting outside. But it's an objective, it's a pure objective game. If the attackers spend their entire fucking lives sitting outside, they never win. They'll just lose the map. And it might be a little bit dull, but it is what it is. If they're AFK outside, then it doesn't matter if they're warned of your presence. Like, yeah. it's just, yeah, I wholeheartedly disagree with the idea that there should be any grace time in that warning. It should be immediate. And yeah, it isn't. And I think the new house provides significant opportunities to exploit that. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, I don't play that. Like I only wind up playing house because I still only play casual because I'm not interested in getting hyper sweaty or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Concentrating on strats and stuff. And I pretty much only play house when it shows up in the casual playlist. I don't have it's not like I'm quitting. It's not yacht, which I will back out of. I just don't want to play yacht. I fucking hate yacht. Like I just straight. It's a fucking bad map. It's a flat out bad map, and it staggers me that they haven't fixed it or haven't even committed to fix it. It's fucking crazy that map exists in that game. But yeah. It's not like we played a couple of rounds on there's a house only playlist where you just play house.
Yep.
And not for me. I'll play it if that's what everyone in the fucking group wants to play, but I'd prefer to play more maps. I think I even have more fun on tower than I do on fucking new house. Anyway, it's good. Like overall, it's good.
Yeah, fair enough. I've not played it in a while, so
yeah,
some stage jump back in and check it out, see what's changed. But yeah, all right, Siege. And the last game we got here is Desperados III. I think, did you talk about this at some stage? You went to a preview or something?
Yeah, I previewed it a little while ago. Oh, fucking ages ago now. But yeah. But I haven't played it since. Right. I didn't get a review code for it or whatever.
Yeah, so this one's just come out recently, and it's got some pretty good reviews on it. So it's been one game that's on my list of like, I need to check this out. And I was waiting for the Steam sale to start, which was supposed to start in the next couple of days. At the time we're recording this is the summer sale that kicks off. But Green Man Gaming had a voucher, like a 20% off voucher for VIP members, and so I used my code that I got to get like $20 off it or something like that. So I picked it up, and I've been playing that for the last like 24 hours or so. I'm not too far into it, like 4 missions, but it's basically a real-time tactics game set in the Wild Wild West.
Wow.
Yeah. And if you've played games like, it's not really the same sort of game as like an XCOM. It's similar, but whereas that is a turn-based game, this one is playing out in real time. There's always stuff going on. It's more in line with like Commando, if you've played those types of games, very old school tactics game. And this is pretty good from what I've played so far. So you start off with one character in your team, I guess, and they've got a set of skills. This one in particular has a coin that he's able to throw and distract other units on the ground with, and it'll allow them to look around, and then you can run past and then stab them in the back of the neck with your knife. Or his other ability is he can throw his knife at a unit from a certain distance, but if you do use the throwing ability, he has to go then recover the knife, so you can't like just chain and hide in bushes and that sort of thing. So the tactical side behind that is with using those types of abilities. And then he's also got two guns as well, like 2 pistols, which you can use that have a certain amount of ammo in there. And so you've got these abilities, and you walk around a map, and you've got an objective to complete, and there are enemies on there that you got to try and bypass. They will have like set paths that they're sort of walking back and forwards between, or like patrolling. And then you can right click on this enemy, and it'll show you their vision cone. And it's generally like a like a green cone that comes out of their direction. At a certain point, the cone will sort of be like a cross stitch sort of effect, and that means that if you're crouched and you're in that sort of vicinity, which is further away, you won't be seen. But if you stand up, then they'll start to see you. So that's kind of like it's split up into two areas, whereas one is like a solid green color. If you're anywhere in that vicinity, they'll see you, and you've got a very limited amount of time before they'll like spot you. Which it's really stylistically done really well. Like you can visually see how much time you've got left in terms of when they'll actually spot you. Like in most stealth games, when someone's about to spot you, they've usually got the circle that sort of fills in, and once it gets to 100%, like, oh, they can see you now. Whereas this cone has this effect where the cone sort of expands, and like there's a line that comes out, and once it hits where you are, that's when they can see you. But at the same time, if they think they've seen someone and they want to come investigate it, their like cone effect changes depending on what sort of state they're in. So it's just displayed really elegantly, where you can see it and be like, oh, I kind of know what's going on. It works really well. So yeah, you've got to kind of work your way through missions, avoid people's detection, and silently take them out. So it's very much like a stealth-based, like XCOM real-time game, though. And as you progress through the missions, you then start getting introduced to other characters, and they start getting like mixed into your team. And so the second guy that shows up, he has a bag that he can throw out, and there's like a gas in it that when someone spots it, they'll walk over and investigate it, and the gas kind of explodes and disorientates them, and he can jump in and then take them out. So he's got an ability like that. He doesn't have two pistols like the main character. Instead, he's got like a silenced sort of like sniper pistol that he can use to scope people that are pretty far away, and take out like enemies that are either on top of a perch or somewhere high above that are like overwatching a certain area. And so he's very helpful for taking out different types of enemies that the game kind of throws at you, because you've got like your normal thugs that will patrol an area, and you like little cannon fodder dudes, and then you've got guys that are wearing like ponchos, and they are less susceptible to like distraction. So you can't throw a coin out there and they'll like look away and be like, oh, what was that, and go walk over. They stay at their post the entire time. So you got to find different ways to sort of deal with these guys, and then it's just sort of like about assessing the situation in front of you and being like, all right, well, how do I figure out like what is the solution to this puzzle that it's trying to do in this particular case. And if you are caught and someone does spot you, it generally sets off like an alarm, and the other people in that particular vicinity will come looking for you, or you'll get reinforcements that will come in and try and take care of you. But if you want to play it as a stealth-based tactics game, it's got an extremely good save system where on the PC at least, you just press like F5 and it quick saves it. And every minute, the game reminds you, you haven't saved. Like it comes up on the screen and says like 1 minute, a minute, 1 second. Like it starts counting and it tells you how long was your last save. And it's like when it gets to 2 minutes, then it goes yellow. And it's very handy because you can play a game like this where you start making a bunch of progress and then you accidentally forget to save, and it's just like, oh man, I've got to do all that again. But this game, it's constantly reminding you, and it's just like a simple click of the button or click on the screen and it'll automatically save it. And the game says like, hey, this is the way the game is supposed to be working. You're supposed to save the game all the time and reload checkpoints and that sort of thing. Like that's the way we want you to sort of explore the mechanics of the game, because it's not entirely just about like stealthing your way through and taking out a bunch of people in a specific order. Like you can find things in the world that allow you to solve the problem at a different way. So if, for instance, the second mission you go on is you've got to go and you're in this town, and certain parts of the town are like areas that you're not supposed to be in. They're sort of being patrolled, but in the main sort of paths, like the streets of the town, you can walk around freely. No one will suspect anything. Very like Hitman-esque. A lot of Hitman vibes from going from this game. And so you can walk around in certain areas, and then if you go into a unrestricted area, or sorry, a restricted area, that's when you got to be a bit more careful. You got to hide in bushes because it's I didn't mention it's a top-down game for people that don't know, and that's when you can start planning it a little bit more. Like someone will walk past a horse, and you can like spook the horse by throwing a coin on it, and it'll knock them out. Like the horse will kick and then knock out the person. You can go rope tie them, grab the person, hide them in a bush, hide them in a well, throw them off a cliff, deal with them whatever way you can, and then go try and do the next thing. And you may come across like, oh, I've got to kill this person, but I've got to work through like 15 guys to try and get to that person. Or you can poison the whiskey barrel, and then someone will come and grab the whiskey and go serve it to them, and then that'll clear them out. Like it's got a couple of different ways to sort of solve these things, which I like, is really cool. And that's just not for that particular like one boss. There's sort of like environmental things set up throughout the world that you can sort of interact with, and it'll take out enemies in a different way rather than you just stabbing them in the back, whatever. And then the tactics side of it as well. When you're interacting with your other team members that eventually start joining the game, because it is a real-time game, you can grab both of them and move them around and sort of try and accomplish actions at the same time. But you can also do, it's called like a shift ability, and it like pauses the game, and then you can issue commands to each of these units. Say you want to move a unit to a specific area, and the other one needs to throw a distraction or a coin or something out. Like you key those actions up, you hit execute, and that'll happen without you like having to manually go in and like do it at the same time. Or you could be like, oh, I want to take out 2 of these guards, and I want to simultaneously do that, because if I take out one, then he might spot the other one being taken out. Like I want to both at the same time. So you can queue up those actions, press execute, and off it goes. And it does those things that, as soon as you press the button, it'll just do it. So that stuff is really cool. And yeah, it's just surprising me like how well it's sort of thought out, and how many like different things you can sort of interact with the world and accomplish tasks by just thinking about it a bit more. Like you don't have to just go around and just stab everybody. You can stealth your way through certain sections, and just approach it entirely differently each situation. So and the sort of variety in terms of the different team members it kind of gives you, and the way they're able to interact. Like there's a brute guy that shows up in the second mission that can put down a bear trap, and he can whistle people over and they'll fall in the bear trap. And he can pick up 2 guys at the same time and like hide them in bushes, whereas your default guy can only pick up 1 person, and he's very slow at it. Whereas he can climb certain structures or vines, whereas the big guy can't. And like there's certain interactions that some guys...
Doc can't Doc has to drag him, right?
Yeah.
Like your main guy sort of hoists him up, but Doc has to like drag him, and it's super slow.
Yeah.
Those
And so
really
you've got to be like
characterization.
situational and think about like, oh, who am I using for this specific thing that I'm about to do? Is it better if I use this other person? Like you've got to think about their strengths and weaknesses when you're going into it. And it kind of forces you to not just use the same person over and over again to just get through the entire thing, because you can't. I mean, you could do it, but it's more rewarding if you sort of mix and match and try and get one person to do one thing that they're good at, as opposed to just being like, oh, I'll try and see if this works, and if it doesn't, then I'll just reload and try something else. So yeah, it's really surprising. Like I'm having a lot of fun with it, and it just sort of like the design things that they've done in the game, and the variety of things that you can do is quite surprising. It's like a breath of fresh air when we've been playing these turn-based tactics games that we've seen recently with like Gears Tactics and your XCOM and them being very similar in terms of how they behave, and then seeing this game and it just being something different. Like we haven't really had something I feel like that's like this before, and it runs really well. Seems pretty polished. It's got a cool like soundtrack. Western soundtrack, but with like electric guitars sometimes, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I'm digging it. I'm having a lot of fun with it so far. Like I'm not a huge amount of the way in, like 4 missions or something, but it's still, yeah, it's still pretty engaging. It does like a mission, and you do a mission, and then it takes maybe 40 minutes to an hour to get through. And then you finish that mission, it comes up and it's like, here's a stat screen. Here's how many people you killed, or how many times you were spotted, or how many civilians you saved. And this character here, this is what they did. And here's some challenges that you could have accomplished. And so there's a bunch of like different stats that it'll show you. So it's got a lot of like replayability there as well.
Yeah.
And then it shows you like the map of the area you were in, and it sort of like time shifts through the entire map and will like give you an overall view of where you were and when you saved and then when you killed somebody, and it quickly like zips through the entire map and it shows you your path where you went and then where you killed people and where you picked things up and when you saved and then reloaded, and you can sort of skim through and see all that sort of stuff. Yeah, that stuff is really interesting and neat. It's we've talked about like a time lapse thing for tactics games, like the John Wick one would have been a cool thing to sort of see, but they never really implemented anything like that in the John Wick game. But I think it's done really well here. Like it's just very elegant, looks very slick. So yeah, I would recommend that people, if they're fans of the XCOM or Gears sort of genre and have want something that's a bit more faster paced, that does something a bit more interesting with that genre, then check out Desperados 3. Or if you played those Commandos games back in the day, it's basically one of those games. So if you like them, you'll probably love this one. It's very cool. They just do so many smart things. Like there's a button you can press and it speeds up time, so you don't have to sit there and wait for like a patrol to come back. You can just fast forward and cool, that's awesome. And you like so quickly just be like, oh, I'll just quick save, and then I'm going to try this thing. Oh, it didn't work. All right, I'm going to quick reload, and it's so quick in terms of how it reloads. It's not instantaneous, but it's still pretty good. So yeah, Desperados 3, it's out now. It's on Steam, I guess. Are you gonna check it out at any stage, or?
I don't know,
Maybe?
man.
Because Nate
Maybe.
was hyping it up a lot.
Yeah, my problem is, I had that revelation a couple of weeks ago that I kind of just don't love turn-based games. Like I just don't like the pacing of them at the end of the day. I think like every time I look at one of those games and I'm like, oh, this is I just feel like this is a puzzle game but
Yeah.
with violence or whatever. And I don't like that's not actually my problem. Like that's not the key problem I have with it. The key problem I have with it inevitably winds up being that I just don't like fucking the pacing of turn-based games. They're just too fucking slow for me. I
Yeah.
wanted to go like let's just keep the fucking action moving. Let's keep it all fucking ticking along. I've got no fucking time for this shit. I got mad ADD, baby. Like let's fucking keep me paying attention, otherwise I'm fucking gone. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very
That
different.
wasn't apparent based on my unhinged rant just then.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, it's definitely Like I enjoyed what I played at the preview session, and I like everything you said is 100% correct. Like I think it does such a fantastic job at realizing that old school Commando style gameplay. But
You've just got to like those types of games.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if you like Hitman, you probably dig this. It's a little bit slower than Hitman. It's obviously not
Yeah.
as deep, I don't think, as Hitman, because like Hitman is insane, the things you can do
Insane.
in that game.
Yeah.
But it's very similar in terms of gameplay stuff, like being able to pick people up. I knocked myself out today because I picked someone up and I accidentally threw them in the air and it landed on me, and then I knocked myself out for like 15 seconds. I was like, oh man. All right. Fair enough. Yeah. All right, that's it. That's the games. It was a lot. What there? Did you need to take a break, or can we just swing on through?
Let's just fucking swing on through.
All right. I needed some water. EA Play Live kicked off last week. We sat there and watched it. Might go through some of the things they talked about. Rocket Arena. They apparently picked up that game. That's part of an EA Originals now. Yep. It Takes Two.
Yeah, just moving on. Moving right on. It Takes Two, the new fucking Joseph Farah's joint, I suppose. I guess at least it looks more abstract than a straight Shawshank Redemption ripoff, so that looks good. Yeah. The appeal of his games is purely co-op fun. People have fun playing games in co-op with others. So if it can successfully execute on that idea, then I presume that this will be a great success. Yeah, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
Yep.
Lost in Random, a game where you roll around with a dice as your best friend.
In a
die, whatever.
Yeah, a die.
Sure.
In like a Tim Burton-esque world.
Yeah. Looks quirky, looks kind of cool. I'm very interested to see how it is executed. I think the idea of randomness in video games is always significant, has significant impact, and is not well explored. I think there's certainly some interesting ways that this could go, or it could just wind up being a quirky platformer. But we'll have to wait and see. Didn't really get a good idea of it based on EA Play.
I mean, they were showing a bunch of like concept art at the start of that, and we were like, are they not going to show any gameplay?
Right. Yeah. But they did. Star Wars Squadron gameplay.
Yeah.
Holy shit! I filled the cup. Hey, I legit got fucking goosebumps in this video. I thought it was fucking spectacular. I'm fucking in, man. I was like Googling fucking hot ass fucking flight sticks, hot ass. I don't fucking know. Hot ass flight sticks. I'm fucking there, man. I want to play this game. I'm excited. It looks like it's got some depth. It looks like it's got a very good fucking flight model that is
no third person.
halfway between.
Thank you.
No, no third person. Halfway between like I guess real world flying plus some non-Newtonian physics shit and being able to do immediate turns back on yourself and stuff like that. It looks like it's got some gorgeous fucking graphics. The explosions in it look out of this fucking. They look so fucking good. Yeah, I'm pumped. I can't wait. I'm very excited.
I'm going to be cautious.
I'm
still going to be cautious on this one.
Fuck that.
Only because the things I've heard that like it's not a full price game. It's a $40 game. The other thing that I was hearing was that it started off as a multiplayer game, and the single player stuff has come later on. So, like,
I'm not in it for single player. Like, I'm in it for like co-op stuff. I think that's going to be real fun. And yeah, I think that's going to be the most interesting. Like the multiplayer and the co-op is going to be the most interesting part of it. I don't really care about a single player campaign, to be honest. If I can play the single player campaign in co-op, I will do it like that instead of playing it single player. So yeah, that doesn't really worry me that much. The idea that single player might be shoehorned in or might just be a set of tutorial missions, I don't really care about that. Really, like I'm okay with it. I think the world of Star Wars is strong enough that we do not need strict narratives every single time we enter the universe. Like
Yeah.
it could just be the world of Star Wars. That's enough for me, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. It just seems weird that, like, it was supposed to be a multiplayer game, and now they're putting in single player. And this is from a company that has said many times that single player games aren't something they want to, something people don't want to play anymore.
Yeah.
They talked about how there's going to be looks like a lot of unlocks and customizations for the ships, which is pretty cool. Like they were saying a lot of good things. VR support, joystick support, which you were just talking about, and yeah, I think the big one for me was the third person thing. If they would have said that, oh, you can be in third person, I would have just been like, I'm not interested. I don't care, because I think that just ruins it. Like for the people that
Yeah.
want to play it with like a joystick and especially like the VR support and things like that, like being able to just be like, oh, I'm going to play the thing in third person now. It feels like a cheat in a way. So
Yeah.
anyway, but yeah, they said a lot of good things, but I'll wait and see how we go.
Yep. And then finally, they revealed that Skate 4 is in development.
Yeah.
In the sense that they certainly confirmed that it looked like they confirmed that they wanted to put a team together to make Skate 4.
Because
that's as far in as they've gotten.
People kept asking for it. Like, so that's the thing. If you keep whining about it on the internet, you'll eventually get your way.
Yep, that's it. That's how the internet works. Yeah, I don't know. Fucking
We'll wait and see.
bring it on.
Yeah.
I'm keen. I'm very keen. But yes, we will have to wait a while.
Pretty disappointing event though, I feel like.
Like nothing huge. But
no next Battlefield. I mean, there was a teaser on some Battlefield stuff. They teased some Dragon Age stuff, but in terms of announcements,
all of it sort of next gen and way in the future.
Yeah. So that
Yeah.
was a little underwhelming, I felt like.
True.
So we'll probably get more info about that soon, about what's going on. Anyway, next up, we got Cyberpunk 2077 has been delayed by 2 months. September 17th to November 19th. So they got a little bit more time on that one. There's some previews happening this week.
Yes.
The Night City Wire event is tomorrow.
Yep.
And then when that drops, there'll be a bunch of media and content creator embargoes lifted.
Yep.
So there'll be a bunch of, it sounds like 4 to 5 hours of gameplay that they were able to play.
That's crazy.
And that's about as much as I know.
Yeah. Nobody's going into much detail at this point. These things were like nobody was getting in. Extremely limited in Australia. I guess, what with restrictions and stuff, you had to go into an office. I've got my first in-office preview session next week, actually. Haven't done one in fucking forever. And I'll be very interested to see how they go with social distancing restrictions and stuff. I think, I might be alone. Like it might be like a room to myself, which isn't unusual, like super unusual, but normally they crack a bunch of people into one room together. I presume that's not what happened. Like the same sort of thing went down at this. So yeah, it was extremely restricted in who could get into these things, and yeah, mostly editors were snapping them up for themselves, like the greedy pigs that they are, because they're all a bunch of fuckheads. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, I'm not jealous. It's fine. I didn't want to go anyway, and I didn't
And
want
they
to
got
play it.
T-shirts as well. That's the worst part.
I got these sweatshirts that say played it before launch, which I would never play, but never watch rather. But sorry, wear.
Oh, I'd wear it everywhere. Just
I'd never
rub it.
wear it. Never ever wear it. But yeah, I would definitely hold on to it. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's fine.
I think this will be the last delay that we get for
I'm
this.
sure the golden ticket makes the chocolate taste terrible anyway. So
Yeah.
you know how it is.
It's an interesting date though, don't you think? November 19th.
That's 4 days after my birthday, Luke.
Okay.
4 days. So if I were to get a 4-day early review copy, that'd be on my birthday. I wonder if there's some way that I can get Cyberpunk to know that. To know that it would be my 37th birthday. It's almost like 2077. 37. There's something in that. I gotta dig into it. If you take the 4 days from 2777, if you take 40 away somehow, I'm not sure. I'm gonna dig into this. There's maths here to justify.
What if you take the 4 away from the 7 and then flip the numbers?
That's it. Perfect.
And it's a 37.
It's a 37.
Yeah.
So
done.
Think it through, CD Projekt. I'm the guy who said that the combat system in Witcher 3 was bad. So you guys owe me for that.
For you patching it, putting the new one in there.
Maths on that one. No.
Yeah. So yeah, November 19th though. That sounds like a launch day. A good launch window for a new console.
Does. That's another great point as well. Yeah. 4 days after my birthday, Luke. I don't know if you've noticed. 4 days after my birthday, and there's got to be some way for me to work out how to get a PlayStation 5 on my 37th birthday. How do we work this one out? If you take 3 from... No, it doesn't work. There's got to be something in there. What about an Xbox Sex? Xbox Sex, 37. I don't know. There's got to be something in there.
Yeah.
Add 327 divided by 2, 5. PlayStation 5. Thanks. Cheers. All right. Makes sense. All right.
Yeah. You're doing well with these maths. It's good.
I'm good at maths. That's what everyone's always said. Joab, you're not much of a writer, but damn, you're good at maths. For a game reviewer, fuck, you're good at maths. That's what they say to me.
Who says this to you?
People on the internet. They're very mean. They're just not nice. Yeah, anyway. And they also didn't say I was good at maths. They just sound bad at everything. They're just fuckheads. Anyway, suicidegame.com, Suicide Squad game, fucking Suicide Game, Jesus Christ. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League.com and GothamKnightsGame.com, registered by Warner Bros. And Rocksteady's working on one of these, right?
Yeah, so there's been rumors for a while that Rocksteady are working on some sort of either Justice League or like you're controlling multiple people in the DC universe. So it sounds like it could be the Suicide Squad one.
Yeah.
Whereas the Gotham Knights game is linked to the Warner Brothers Montreal crew who have been teasing this fucking Batman game for like a year now on Twitter, which we should be hearing about pretty soon at this new Warner Brothers online event, which I don't have a date for. could quickly check it out, but I think it's within the next month or so. I can't find it. Do you know when it's on?
Nope. Nope.
No, I don't have a date, but
I don't
anyway,
know.
I know it's happening. So the rumors are that
If it
this
does
is
show up, if we do find the date, I'll add it to the calendar.
yeah,
The very useful calendar. The
it's in
E3
August. It
calendar.
says here, August 22nd.
Nice. All right, cool.
Yeah. So it sounds like this is where they're probably going to be doing this these two DC games. And then the other rumor was that Harry Potter game that someone's working on. There was some some leaked footage
a
little while back from a studio working on that one as well. So we probably hear about that one a bit more. Anyway, there's those games. The next one is a big one. Microsoft has shut down Mixer.
Hang on, before you get to that,
Yeah.
Gotham Knights. That's an actual rugby team in New York.
Okay.
Do you think they'll get free copies of the game, or they just get fucking?
They
someone
should.
stole their fucking name. I'd be mad. I'd be mad at it. Anyway, yeah. Microsoft shut down Mixer out of nowhere. They didn't tell anyone about it. People just woke up one day and they were like, "Well, you're a Facebook gaming now, so bye." The only people who didn't get this treatment were the two dudes who made out like fucking bandits on the fucking tip. Ninja and Shroud, who both got allegedly bought out of their contracts so they can go wherever the fuck they want.
Back to Twitch
I've been
or
thinking about
YouTube
this.
gaming.
If you got paid $30 million to stop streaming on a platform, would you go to Twitch or YouTube or Facebook? Or if I got, what would you do?
I wouldn't go to Facebook.
Definitely not.
No.
If I got $30 million to stop streaming on Mixer, I would stop doing anything at all. Shit, you can pay me $2 million to stop streaming. Shit, you could pay me $1 million to stop streaming on Mixer, and I would stop streaming everywhere.
I mean, the thing is now they can go to either YouTube Gaming or Twitch and be like, "Who wants my deal now?" And then make even more money.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Well, the trick part is that, like, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Does YouTube want them? You know, do they need them? I guess, like, on one hand, right, the theory is, if they're trying to get their YouTube live off the ground, then having either of them would be a fucking sweet feather in their cap. On the other hand, the way that Google does anything doesn't really lend itself to the concept of them doing anything positive for their platforms. So I'm not sure that they would. I got a fucking email the other day saying import all your stuff from Google Play Music to YouTube Music. They're shutting down Google Play Music, which I've used for it's got to be a decade. It's got to be at least a decade now. And they're just going to shut it down. Like, oh, okay, it's just gone now. Use YouTube Music instead. I don't want to use YouTube Music, you fuckholes. I don't want to. I just want, like, is this so much to ask? I just want to be able to fucking listen to my music wherever I am at any time. And now I've got to store it all on my fucking phone again, like some sort of fucking. Oh my god, I'm very upset. Anyway, fuck YouTube. Fuck all this. Fuck streamers. Fuck everything.
Yeah.
Why did you remind me of this shit?
I think it seemed like an all in or nothing sort of thing for them. Like it's been, they basically killed it after a year after signing all these big contracts. But it seems like money might have been well spent in a better way. Like rather than just chucking a shitload of money at a couple of people, like disperse that out a little bit more and grab, people that are up and coming or have like lower sort of tier accounts, and that way you're grabbing
Mm.
a bigger range of people, um, as opposed to just two people and being like, well, let's see if this works, and we'll spend a shitload of money on it, and maybe it'll stick, and if it doesn't, we'll just ditch everything. I
Yeah.
think it's still really weird that they're getting rid of it because I thought it was a good platform. Like the things they were doing in there in terms of features and whatnot, like they were one of the first ones to have like the multi-stream features in there where you could watch multiple people at the same time and queue them up on the same screen rather than going to like a Twitch extension and trying to do all that sort of stuff. Like the competition is good because it means that they're not just sitting there and idling and being like, well, there's no one else that can touch us, so we don't really have to do much. Yeah, it's. I don't think overall it's good for the scene. Um, but like, like who's their competition now, other than Google?
Yeah, it's just YouTube. It's
Yeah.
just YouTube. There's no way Facebook overtakes them under any circumstances. That never happens. Yeah.
Mm. Anyway, and it sucks because like a lot of people who make money off this platform as a living now have lost that. They've got a month. They got a month's notice to try and sort it all out.
Yeah.
Apparently, employees didn't know either. They found out via that announcement. It's just not a yeah. I don't think they handled it too well, but uh, especially when they're launching a brand new console this year, like they could have found ways to integrate it better into like the console platforms. It's just yeah, strange decision. It's I guess they just were like, fuck it, we'll cut our losses and we'll just abandon that completely. Like that's not what we want to be in for anymore. Um, anyway,
Yeah.
next up has been a very outspoken week in terms of harassment in the industry across
Mm.
game development, streaming, content creators, media, all over the place. Uh, Two of the biggest ones that have come out of this. So this is basically a lot of women that are coming out and accusing people, mostly men, in places of higher power of taking advantage of women or harassing them, whether it's emotionally or sexually, things like that, and taking advantage of them. And so, yeah, two of the biggest ones that have come out in terms of the game development scene has been the creative director on the Assassin's Creed series for Valhalla, who also worked on Origins and Black Flag.
Mm.
He has today stepped down from that creative director role after allegations came out of him, I guess, cheating on his wife with a much younger lady, possibly more women. Yeah,
Multiple
I've
women
read
have
and
made
heard stuff
allegations.
about it.
And yeah, like it's a question of abusing his position as a powerful element in the games industry
Hmm.
to, you know, acquire what a gross word. To
Pray.
like yeah, to prey upon women, like it's it's fucking gross as shit. Yeah, Ashraf Ismail appears to have stepped down, taken a leave of absence, I believe was the tweet. And yeah, someone else will take over for Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Um, yeah, it's that shit's gross. That shit's gross as fuck, and he's far from the only one who's done it. I mean, yeah, the whole thing is that these people, these men in the games industry, are using their positions to coerce people, coerce not just women, like dudes as well, into situations, compromising situations that they wouldn't otherwise find themselves in if the allure, the tantalizing allure of the games industry didn't weigh heavily or sit heavily above them, and it winds up being unbelievably gross. So he's one, and the other one is Chris Avalon, has been in the industry for fucking forever.
Yeah.
And has his apparently filthy fingers in a lot of different games, for everything from fucking Planescape Torment all the way up to no longer Techland's Dying Light 2, which he has been the severed Techland has severed their relationship with Chris Avalon as a result of the allegations about his impropriety. And impropriety is a pretty fucking tame way to put it. He's a predator, it would appear. It's like it's pretty fucking cooked. This is definitely gaming's Me Too moment.
Mm-hmm.
The time's up, time's up, time's up, time's up. Yeah, like everyone's getting fucking put on blast. Everyone who's ever done anything fucking gross. There's a lot of this is a pretty interesting fucking topic because we're, famously party animals, right? I would say, Luke,
Famously.
that we are famously party animals in the local games industry.
Are you about to to put Eric Johnson on blast? Is that what's going on?
I mean, I think maybe the Eric Johnson from Valve joke is dead, right?
Yeah.
It's done. Eric Johnson never did any of those things. Okay,
Yeah.
As far as we can tell, he is a fantastic man and has never done anything like this. It was always just a gag about the old school nature of how the games industry parties used to be, and it was dramatically exaggerated for comic effect. No, what I'm saying is that, like, man, we're like party animals. Like, we tend to get drunk. And what I've noticed is
Not
a
at
lot of these
video
people,
game events mostly. Like,
no, well,
we're
at
not going to
after
preview events and getting wasted. Like, that's not what's
No.
happening.
No, I'm talking about like after parties or like networking events, social stuff. Yeah, we get drunk. We like to imbibe. But no, one of the things I noticed is that a lot of people are like, a lot of these people who are being accused of stuff are coming out and being like, yeah, well, I was drunk, and when I get drunk, I get like this, and blah 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 blah. I think probably the worst thing I ever did was I stole someone's laptop bag at
Accidentally. You
Christmas
didn't
party
steal
once.
it.
But it was an accident. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
grabbing a bag because it, honest to God, looked identical to my own bag, and I was pretty fucking drunk, and I couldn't remember if I had a bag or not. I looked inside; it had exactly the same fucking laptop as me. So I'm like, yeah, this is mine. Off I go. I gave it back the next day. I took it back to them. It was a genuine mistake that got fixed immediately. That's the worst thing I've ever done when I'm drunk. And I was drunk enough that I don't remember getting into a cab to go home with a bag that it wasn't mine. Right? That's pretty drunk. That's pretty drunk.
I was at that event. I remember. Was it?
I don't remember.
Was it a Christmas event or something? Like Christmas party?
Christmas. It was a Christmas party, yeah.
So,
but yeah, like that's that's lovable scamp shit, right? Like that's I'm a lovable scamp, right? I would hope that if I ever did anything fucking heinous, someone would call me out immediately. And I would hope if I saw someone do anything heinous, I would call them out immediately, right? Like, because I know you and I have had fucking conversations about stuff that isn't like remotely close to this, right? Like, we've had conversations with other people, like in large groups, about stuff that doesn't come fucking close to this. I hate the idea. I hate to think that people who have been made to feel vulnerable at these events, when Like, I go to them and I just have a fucking great time, right? Like, it sucks that people have to sit there on guard while I'm getting fucking. It is like that classic shit, right? Like, I'll roll into fucking. I'll go over to an event in like somewhere, and I'll roll up to a 7-Eleven, buy fucking 4 cans of Four Loko and hammer them all, and then drunkenly walk around the streets of a foreign country. And I'm like, nothing's gonna happen to me. I'm fucking I'm the I'm a blank face. Like, I'm Joab average. Nobody like even fucking notices that I exist. Meanwhile, other people are like taking infinite fucking safeguards to make sure that they're safe in other locations. Because for whatever a myriad of factors that impact the likelihood, the statistical chance that they might get into any trouble, that jacks up just because that they're not like me. They don't look like Job average. It's fucking upsetting to me. Obviously, it's not. None of this is about me, right? Like, this is not about me, and me talking about me is just sort of narcissistic. But I'm just trying to frame this as like, I hate the idea that anyone should ever, and we got to get rid of this. We got to fucking excise this cancer from our fucking industry.
Hmm.
And yeah, like the first step is people taking leaves of absence from major titles, so we can make sure and put in place some safeguards to make sure people feel good about
Hmm.
like being in the industry. Writing about video games or making video games. I won't say streaming. Streaming seems to make shitloads of money, but writing about video games and making video games is not generally a way to make lots and lots of money. Not if you're doing it within the larger system. If you're working for a place like uh, Ubisoft or whatever, you're not walking away like you'll make corporate money, I guess, but you're not going to make fuck tons of money. And writing about video games, you're never going to make fuck tons of money. So it sucks that not only are you not making lots of money and you're working insane hours, but you're also dealing with predatory horse shit from fuckheads. But yeah, it does seem like that has happened too often, and I think the only like the least anyone can do is call it out when they see it, say something, and make sure it doesn't persist. Pull people up when they're like this, Yeah. Anyway, it's a shitty situation, but ideally it will get better and continue to get better. But it has to, you have to shine a light on it before it can actually start to get better. You have to just discover the disease before you can start to find a cure.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was some stuff in. These are kind of just two of the people we've highlighted, but there's like hundreds, like over 100 at this stage. I was not on the internet when all this blew up. It was the weekend over here, and I was busy doing stuff, so I didn't see what sort of kicked all this off or where it kind of evolved. I missed like 2 or 3 days of it. But the stuff I've seen the last couple of days are like the IGN stuff came up pretty big. So this is many, many years ago. There was the people that were running it have since been fired, or they're not there anymore. But you've got like people that now work at GameSpot. So like Callie and there was someone else over there. I forget who it was. But both of them basically said like that the sort of things that they endured under the management of these two people were things that they basically went to like HR about, and then HR didn't do anything, and so or didn't handle it properly, and for them that wasn't enough, and they ended up like leaving that company. And there's talks about like this. I think some of the stuff that I saw was in relation to like when these guys were running it being like, oh, we can't put you on camera because you're not pretty enough and things like that.
Yeah.
Or like, you can write the script, but we'll get someone else to be on camera. Not just for women, but for guys as well. Like, you're not good at looking enough to be on camera. So, and even though it's your review, we'll get someone else to be on camera and do it for you. And then there was the Mitch Dreyer thing. So Mitch now works at, I think he's at Motive these days. But he's at EA.
I'm pretty sure he's writing on Squadrons, right? I think.
Yeah, he might be a writer. I think he's worked on like Battlefront and that sort of stuff. But he's an ex-journo. And he talked about how he did a piece. He like came out and apologized to Naughty Dog and Neil Druckmann and over there about they wrote a piece back in the day when Amy Hennig left Naughty Dog, and they ended up putting in this IGN piece that they heard that it was like a hostile takeover from Neil Druckmann and trying to get rid of Amy. And it turns out that that wasn't real, that these two guys wanted to put that in there because it sounded juicy. Like, it wasn't a verified source. And he wanted to get his name taken off the piece, and they wouldn't let him. And so he had to post this article with misinformation in there to make it sound good. Yeah. Like, that sort of stuff is fucked up. And you can just see like all these people that are coming out against IGN that used to work there and say, you know, it's a much better place now. Those people have left. They've started their own company. Maybe don't go work for that consulting company. But it kind of just shows you where a lot of this stuff sort of, you know, how deep it goes. And it's not going to be the last of it. Like, I think this is going to be going on for a while. We're going to see more and more people coming out, you know, against these people that are up in higher places, are taking advantage of others. You know, I think luckily in Australia, in terms of the media area, you know, it's a very smaller community, especially to what it was, you know, 10 years ago. It's getting smaller and smaller. But I'd like to think that everybody is pretty responsible and everybody knows each other. But I've definitely heard things in terms of streamers and content creators. I'm not going to say who or anything like that. That's not my story to tell. But for me, my personal experience, like, I've heard more things on that side in Australia, just because I think there's more of them at this stage. It's like, there's so many. So yeah, it's not just a problem affecting Australia. It's a global thing, and I feel like this isn't the last sort of bunch of high profile people we'll be hearing about at this stage. So yeah, like, I'm glad that people are speaking up about it and making a big deal, because it needs to, like, you don't want to be working for these assholes, I guess. Yeah.
And I'm glad people are speaking, because I'd hate to think, like, you know, when you work with these people, you are tacitly supporting them. You are helping prop up their efforts.
To make them think it's okay.
And yeah, that makes them think that what they're doing is condoned. And yeah, I'd hate to think that I ever, unintentionally supported someone who is like this, who's dog shit. Like, it just isn't on, you know? Fuck that shit.
Yeah,
it's gross.
All right, I think that's it. That's all we've got. Any questions at all at the moment?
Nope.
Nothing?
JB wanted to point out that he thought that I painted a closer game in our Red Alert skirmish than what had happened in reality. That he had shitloads of troops coming my way, and that it wasn't pathfinding that lost me that game. But I would like to say, fucking prove it, JP. Prove it! And also, Heath wanted to point out that that he had a race this week where he drove around a racetrack over the weekend and gained 40 positions, but only after he lost 35 positions. So technically he lost, I guess. No, he gained 5. pretty good. Pretty good. And Drew said that race actually went for 24 hours. So it's 24 hours. Over the course of 24 hours, he lost 35 positions and gained 40, which is actually pretty classic Heat, to be honest.
Yeah.
5 positions over the course of 24 hours on average is what, like one every 4 point something hours, 4.6 hours. I don't know. Everyone says I'm great at maths. And yeah, that tracks. 1 position every 4 something hours. Makes sense.
Nice.
Anyway, send us questions. I love questions. And jump in our games spoiler chat. Dan Gaz has pointed out that you can use how to do spoiler tags, and it would probably be a good idea to spoiler tag the more spoilery stuff if you are going to chat in our spoiler chat channel.
Yep. Yeah, I'll look into it, see if there's a good way we can do it.
Yep.
That sort of stuff. All right, and that is it. You can find us on iTunes, Android, Windows Store, Spotify, YouTube, all the places where you can get your podcast under the GAP, the GA podcast, GAP podcast. Please rate and review the show. Helps other people find it. If you'd like to send us questions, you can go to thegapodcast@gmail.com for emails. You can go to our Discord page, thegapodcast.com/Discord, if you'd like to leave us any questions. Jump in that spoiler chat. We'll just talk about random things in the general channel. Or even play games. Sometimes we're in there. Go do that. Good fun.
If you can find Rainbows with me. If you see me playing Rainbow 6, and you want to jump in with me, ping me on Uplay or in the channel, and I'll jump in the channel. Otherwise, I'm just playing. I'm just going to do my playing on mute thing. But happy to play with other people, as I was saying. So yeah, let me know.
Cool. You can find us on social media, facebook.com/GA podcast, twitter.com/GA podcast. You can go to our YouTube page, thegapodcast.com/YouTube. You can watch the latest episode as well as the spoiler cast is going up, I think, tomorrow.
Cool.
Once that's finished. And you can also go to our website, thegapodcast.com. It's got links to all the things we just talked about, for the links for everything, including past episodes of the show, or you can just listen to the podcast on there if you want to. And that is all thanks to our Patreon members who help us put on this every week. They help pay the bills, all that sort of good stuff. If you'd like to support this show, you can go to patreon.com/GA podcast. So thank you to everyone that does that every month.
You're the best.
Yep. Like I said before, it allowed us to do the spoiler cast, and we'll definitely be doing more of those. Obviously, Cyberpunk, if it doesn't keep getting delayed, that'll be a big one. But yes.
Is Watch Dogs out this year?
I don't think it is. They haven't said anything. I think that's going to be a March next year release.
Yeah. I mean, it was originally slated for Q4 this year, but without a release date at this point, maybe not. Bloodlines 2, Vampire the Masquerade. I would definitely talk way too much about that if it manages to come out this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
I mean, it says here the game was originally slated for March 6, 2020.
Damn.
And then they delayed it till the 2021 physical year.
Oh, did they? Oh, okay.
I think I'm going to guess March next year. Would make sense.
That's a good guess.
Yep. All right. Have you got anything you'd like to pimp out for this week you've been working on?
Head to, no, you can't see it yet, but twitter.com/JobyJojo. See my dumb tweets.
Okay. You can find me twitter.com/Luke Lawrie, LAWRIE. That's all I've got. You can check that out. I'll be posting about things that happen. But otherwise, that's it for this week. Next week, we're back. More video games. Stay tuned.